Hold up. Wait a minute. Bruh. Did you hit the like button? Drop some rabbits in the chat. Let's go.
Hit that like. Hit that like. Welcome to the chat. Let's chit chat. Hit that like. Hit that like. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits. Drop some rabbits. Drop some rabbits. Drop them. Drop them. Drop them. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits. Drop some rabbits. Drop them. Drop them. Drop them. Drop them. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits. If you want the tea, come see me. Rabbit hole is the place to be for real news, not fake news. Celebrity news, breaking news around the clock. Real talk, best on the block. I rock, I rock, I rock, I rock. Real talk, best on the block. I rock, I rock. Hit that like, hit that like. Welcome to the chat. Let's chit chat, chat. Hit that like, hit that like. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits, drop some drop 'em, drop 'em, drop 'em, drop 'em. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits, drop 'em, drop 'em, drop 'em, drop 'em. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits. True crime is my specialty. Exposing the industry. Unsolved mysteries. Sticking to reality. Fair use commentary. Talking about cults. Trying to get results. Exploring cults. Exploring. Researching. Debunking. Investigating. Being nosy. Super nosy. Being messy. Being shady. Rabbit hole news. That's me. The chick with ADHD. Unmedicated. But quite educated. Hit that like. Hit that like. Welcome to the chat. Let's chit chat. Chat. Hit that like. Hit that like. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits. Drop some rabbits. Drop some drop 'em. Drop 'em. Drop 'em. Drop 'em. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits. Drop some rabbits. Drop 'em. Drop 'em. Drop 'em. Drop 'em. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits. Hit that like. Hit that like. Let's go. Let's go. Let's start the show. Let's start the show. Let's start the show. Let's start the show. Let's start the show.
Good morning. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Happy Sunday. Oh my God. It is Sunday. Listen, I need a soundboard. I think I'm going to need to get me a little, I have a little one, but I want one with sound effects so that I can do different things with it. I'm going to invest in a little soundboard. Welcome everybody. Shout out to everybody in the chat, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Hope you guys are having a wonderful, beautiful Sunday, July 20th. Okay. Go to church, because that's what we all got to do. Okay. And if you don't go to church, you don't believe, that's fine. Do what makes you happy and do the things that keep you sane. That's the best thing to do. I am drinking on a nice coffee. Thank you. Thank you. I definitely needed it. It hasn't quite hit yet. So hopefully it'll hit at some point. But we have a lot of topics to talk about. Let's get right to it. Welcome everybody. Shout out to the members in the chat. Don't trip. I said it. Look, she's already dancing in my chat. I love it. I love it. Oh my. Me again. They said that Obama's going to jail and we got to talk about it because we talk about all these politicals, whether you like them or not, whether you voted for them or not. Listen, if people are going to jail, we got to talk about it. That's what they said, that he's going to jail and he's going to be arrested. Well, damn. I guess we'll see what happens with that. So we got to talk about it. Yes, please. Soundboard would be awesome. I would be happy. Thank you. I feel like the purple, depending on the color of shirt that I wear, is definitely showing. I'm wearing like a blue. I think this is green because clearly the green screen is. Anyways, but that is cool. Thank you. I heard about this too, Carrie Ann. I'll definitely check it out. Thank you. The girls are the girls. Listen, the political girls are fighting. The political people are fighting. They're pulling each other's hairs. They are, pulling out receipts. It is giving reality TV show 101, and I'm here for it. I'm so here for it. You're going to be rage cleaning. I was doing a lot of that this weekend. Yesterday I said, I'm going to take a day off. And I really did take a day off. And I was rage cleaning, going through closets, going through spaces, dusting, cleaning all kinds of things. And that's one of those things where it's like, I try to keep up with things, but for me, everybody leaves everything up for me. So, and that's okay, because I'm very picky about how I want things organized. I'm good with that. But I did a lot of cleaning yesterday and no videos. So I'm very late on certain videos and topics that I want to talk about, which I figure we do today, since we have a good 2 hours to do a live. Now, do me a favor, guys. Make sure you guys are hitting the like buttons. The girls are fighting. Yes, they are. Man, it's like, Obama? That's what they're saying. That's what they're saying. So we're going to talk about it. But shout out to everybody. Thank you. Appreciate it. You do rage cleaning? It's something very therapeutic about rage cleaning. If you don't know what that is, it is literally when you just, for me, I put my headphones on, put my little AirPods on, and just disconnect from everybody. Nobody can talk to me. Don't look at me. Don't talk to me. Just let me do me. And then I have music on. I just start cleaning. And then my mind kind of goes somewhere else. That is rage cleaning for some. It's a wonderful thing. Yes, yes. Yeah, dusting sucks. It really does. It's best therapy. I definitely recommend it, y'all. Definitely do it. You're not allowed to trash Obama on my birthday. Oh my God, happy birthday, Jenny G. I'm not trashing the person. I'm literally just reporting on the news. I promise y'all. I promise. But happy birthday to you. Make sure you guys drop some little flowers, birthday cakes, and everything in the chat, okay? For Jenny G. Amazing. You're not the only one. No, that's a therapy thing, rage cleaning for sure. Rage cleaning is awesome. I definitely recommend it. All right, guys. So we got to get together. Well, one piece of news that I still have to do a video on that I plan to do is this lawsuit that we followed like, hell, was it 3 years ago? I want to say 2 going to 3. But anyways, BJ was sued by a woman by the name of Lima Jevremovic when she uncovered some pretty nefarious situations that was happening in that lawsuit. The woman's name is Lima Jevremovic. Now, in this lawsuit, BJ was silenced for quite some time. She couldn't really talk about Amanda Rapp. She couldn't really talk about Bam Margera. BJ kind of really took it upon herself to bring a voice to some of the situations that were happening here, specifically on conservatorships and guardianships. So what happened was that a woman by the name of Lima Jevremovic, when BJ decided to call her out on some of the lies that she had said on various platforms, like soft white underbelly, which so interesting about soft white underbelly and the girlfriend that died. And I have been busy, so I haven't really had the time to like, that was around the Diddy trial that he did that video about a girlfriend that died in a very tragic way, and just some questionings about it. And even the people in the chat were questioning, he's like, he was dating you, weren't you? Like a much older guy, younger woman type of situation. To each his own, but that's what was going on. So we didn't, I'll speak for myself. I mean, BJ, I know, was also in the Diddy trial when a lot of this was happening. We didn't have time to really get into a lot of what was going on with soft white underbelly in that situation, but she's now recently talked about it. So I definitely got to look into it a little bit more. But where I'm going at is that, so BJ was sued and she was silenced. And with the lawsuit came a lot of clownery, specifically people that tried to tag her to a Discord that she did not start. And there were some people that, like, that was being used to leverage against her. A lot of things were being used to use as leverage against BJ. And so then you had people that falsely sign statements and statements, I'll say that, different things that they sign to kind of get this situation to be looked in a certain way when it came to BJ. And I was watching a lot of this, and I mean, I was the only one that could really talk about it, and I talked about it, and I brought some attention to this platform about it. But with that came a lot of trolls. There was a lot of trolls that came if you talked about Lima Jevremovic and company, like a lot of false claims on my channel, a lot of Twitter clowns and stuff like that. I just wasn't engaging. And then a lot of people that would come into the chat to try to infiltrate, a lot of carny looking people. Carney, shout out to the carnies, but a specific carny individual who wanted to insert himself in this drama, wanted to be part of documentaries, really horrible, ugly looking, special circus kind of situation. Anyways, I'll leave it at that. But yeah, so I had to jump in, and I love that I did, because we were able to give a little bit of a voice and truly report what was going on with this lawsuit. Little update that BJ dropped that I have not been able to catch up on, and I want to do a pre-recorded on, but I wanted to do a reaction to this. It's important news.
Bet you they won't.
Mm-hmm.
Bet you they won't.
Yep.
Lawsuit's been dismissed with prejudice, everybody.
My channel, a lot of individuals that I know donated to BJ's legal fund. This is a huge victory for those that donated, myself included. Shout out to BJ, shout out to Prem, shout out to them for staying level-headed when all this ish was going on.
One more time for the people in the back. The lawsuit, the one outstanding lawsuit from these freaks, freakazoids, creeps, it's been dismissed
Done.
with prejudice. That means she can't file it again.
Now, between that and then filing protection orders and all kinds of things, and then finding people from the Free Britney movement to help her file some things, and filing for her sister, like this thing was a mess. And I'm telling you, I don't know how BJ and Prem remained level-headed on this. This is good news. This is fantastic news. And then the other side to this too is this. There's this little part of me that kind of wonders about Amanda Rabb and that whole situation. Because my friends, it's a sad situation with Amanda Rabb and her story and the way in which she was used. Okay?
Now, this is a public document, but I do want to pull it up. The court has carefully considered the parties' submissions and decides the motion for the reasons below. The court will grant
Here you go.
my motion to dismiss this lawsuit once and for all with prejudice. I mean, it's been almost exactly 3 years. Today, it's been 3 years exactly since I received that cease and desist. The judge goes through the history of the case.
Shout out to BJ. Make sure you guys watch this video. I'm going to do a separate reaction to this. Yep. And I think it's important to know, like, you know, that watching that go down. Ooh, I disappeared. Watching that go down, watching it actually go down, seeing the way in which they were trying to silence her was a very, just a very sad situation. And I know that there was, you know, what do you do? What do you do when the law is being leveraged against you to hurt you, to silence you, and your job is to expose some of the things that are happening? My friends, that happened in real time. And shout out to BJ, and we'll definitely going to be doing a separate video on that. I just wanted to do a little reaction to this live because I hadn't been able to catch up on stuff. Okay, let's talk about another piece of news, guys, that I wanted to talk about, but I'm going to tell you guys, this is the kind of stuff. Listen, the Paranormal Investigator. Now, I was getting a lot of like stuff on my IG feed about this Paranormal Investigator situation, where he moved this doll, this Annabelle doll, which I think that there has been like a lot of Hollywood commotion behind this doll, right? Like, I'm not one to, I don't watch The Conjuring. I don't be watching those kind of movies because I'm I'm very spiritual, and I believe that some of the stuff that, even though it's on TV and online, that shit can really seep over. Sometimes it just starts with you thinking about it. I've had my own encounters with certain things, and so I because I'm very intuitive about certain things, I kind of protect my own when it comes to things like that. I just don't be doing the paranormal stuff, okay? I really don't. So what I understand is that there's this like Raggedy Ann looking doll. Okay. This doll apparently is like possessed. And it was found, I think that there was this couple that is like well-renowned knows. This is where I don't know too much. There's like a couple that were like paranormal investigators, and they basically determined that this doll was possessed by a little girl, and it was doing things to like a group of people. Initially, people found out that this thing was possessed, that it was doing like it was walking and moving and writing notes and doing all kinds of things, right? So they took this doll and they put this doll in like I want to say like a paranormal museum, and they had it locked up, and there's like a little creepy sign that says positively do not touch and do not move type of thing. And I don't, first of all, you're not going to find me in a paranormal museum. I don't know why you would. Listen, shout out to the paranormal spirits. Y'all, shout out to y'all, but I don't want anything to do with that. Thank you. See, you said it's a demon, not a spirit. Thank you. There's a difference. Thank you. Y'all, thank you for correcting me, please, and thank you. It was Anne and Lorraine Warren. Thank you. So I knew there's like a history there, right? Well, I think that the story behind this doll has definitely taken like a Hollywood life of its own, right? People have then made a series of The Conjuring. I don't do conjurings. We don't know. So it's taken a life of its own to kind of make it more of a Hollywood glorification thing. And I just don't, y'all remember what was that one movie, The Poltergeist, and all the stuff that happened to those actors on that one movie on The Poltergeist. And this is what I'm telling you guys. I don't know why people mess with stuff like that and think that somehow you can't carry that with you. You know what I mean? You just don't mess with that. You just don't. So, and I know that this is maybe some people are going to be like, we're making such a big deal about this. I do. Paranormal Investigator did not have possessed, and they're going like this, Annabelle doll in hotel room where he died, coroner says. So apparently there's footage of him handling the doll, and then the following day, I think he like passed away or something like that, right? So the doll wasn't in the room. She couldn't have committed the murder. What are you supposed to do with the doll? Like prosecute the doll? If you found the doll in the room, like what part of like the paranormal, the things that we can't see, do people not understand, right? So this is the piece that I have to like. I kind of take it back and I said, "Are people for real?" Yes, we know that the doll wouldn't have been found in the room. We saw the video. Like I saw this video, and that even creeped me out, where he's handling the doll and putting it in a different case because it's demonic and possessed, right? But even if the doll caused the death of this man, are we supposed to prosecute the? That's what I'm saying. I'm like, are people for real to even say this? Okay, it wasn't found in the room. You're not going to find it in the room. I don't know. He's just because the doll wasn't in the room doesn't mean he's immune to it, right? Because this is like the spiritual world, right? Lord, look at Luigi. Imagine an S doll being possessed. Well, ain't that a thing? I mean, anyways, Luigi, give me a wrench. Go away. Yo, you think people would still be messing with that doll if that was the case? Oh my God. Mm-mm. Luigi. Oh my God. Y'all are too much. Yo, hit the like button because that was I was not expecting that. Um, She did what? She burned down a plantation, allegedly, right? Well, Annabelle did burn down the place. See, I don't even know. See, I don't be keeping up. I'm not saying it wasn't but wasn't it a heart attack? Heart disease is a leading cause of death in America. Oh, could very well be, but I think where people are saying it's like a coincidence, or maybe it isn't. I don't know. Maybe it sped it up. I don't know. See, the thing is that you can't really always see heart disease, right? Like you can't, if somebody's sick like that, you can't really see that, you know? And so I think people then, at least I do feel some type of way. You handling that doll, I wouldn't have touched it. Mm-mm, mm-mm. Oh, and then there's these. Is it Labobos? How do you call those dolls? Those are some weird freaking dolls. Baby Bunny isn't into that, thank God. I mean, I don't even like the fact that she has a Teletubby. I think those things are weird looking too. Sorry, y'all. I'm just being honest. Annabelle's been framed this whole time. Haha. Sodium is a true silent killer. Well, see, then there's that, you know? And it's not a ghost, it's a demon, which I think that there is a difference. Too many coincidences. Listen, I just don't mess. Yeah, they're not cute. I don't understand. I saw Meg the Stallion trying to like, I'm like, I don't get these dolls are creepy weird. Um Anyways, the toys that people play with, you do have to kind of wonder. Y'all gonna think I'm weird, but you do have to kind of wonder, especially if a celebrity is promoting it. I don't know how I feel about that. Mm-mm. Why are you promoting child toys, Meg the Stallion? Why are you around child? Like, I know that people collect these things, but I don't know, man. It's just freaky. It's a freaky thing. Okay. You say it's not a demon, but a beacon. Oh, okay. You guys educate me because I don't know. She said, if I die, I'll be a nice demon. Gotcha. Don't be a demon. Don't do that. Don't do that now. Okay, anyways, let's get it together. Y'all are so distracted in the chat. Welcome, guys. Shout out to everybody. Okay, so Rivera's cause of death is pending, and autopsy results are expected in 8 to 10 weeks. No, the allegedly possessed Annabelle doll was not in the hotel room where paranormal investigators Dan Rivera died earlier this week, according to a Pennsylvania coroner. Now, let me just say, being a paranormal investigator can't really be good for the health, I don't think. Like, I would imagine that your nerves are kind of all over the place and things get a little bit crazy, and your adrenaline is heightened all the time. You're fighting paranormal crime. I'm just thinking in my mind because that's too much. In a Friday, July 18th message to people, Francis Dutroux, the Adams County coroner, confirmed that the doll was not present when he arrived at the scene on Sunday, July 13, when authorities were notified about Rivera's death. Dutroux went on to note that the doll had not been in the hotel at all. Okay, I don't think that it was. Rivera, a lead investigator for the Connecticut-based New England Society for Psychic Research, was in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania last week with Annabelle as part of the Devils on the Run tour when he died at the age of 54. Now, let me stop right here. I remember before this news broke, this is why it caught my attention, because I remember that the doll had been missing, and somehow the doll is this part of the show? Like, the doll was missing, and then the doll kind of like they found it. I don't know how a doll like this goes missing. Why would anybody want this doll to go missing? I don't know. Members from the PSP Gettysburg response to a hotel, Adams County, for a report of a deceased man. Okay, and the decedent was discovered in his hotel room by workers. Nothing unusual or suspicious was observed at the scene. His cause of death is pending. Now, I guess the county told people that Rivera had been with colleagues on Sunday morning, but said he was feeling sick and was going back to his room. So he was reported to have been sick. Now, was this before or after the doll handling? I don't know. It's unclear what Rivera may have been ill with. Further information is pending in the autopsy results, which are expected about 8 to 10 weeks. According to the website and the New England Society of Psychic Research website, Annabelle origins goes back to 1968 when a student nurse was gifted the doll and brought it to home where she lived with her roommate. Okay. Almost immediately, the roommates noticed strange occurrences with the doll, and they were introduced to a medium who told them that the doll was inhabited by the spirit of a young girl named Annabelle. The organization wrote the two roommates tried to accept the doll's spirit and please it, only to have it reciprocate maliciousness and violent intent. The society added that its founders, paranormal investigator Ed and Lorraine Warren, were called in to determine that Annabelle was demonically possessed. They took the doll from the home and stored it in a glass box to contain the evil spirited entity. The story of Annabelle and the Warrens led to the developments of a horror film franchise, The Conjuring. In a statement later shared with people on Tuesday, July 15th, the New England Society for Psychic Research, which first confirmed the death on social media, paid tribute to Rivera. Dan was not only a vital part of our team for over a decade, but also a deeply passionate, loyal, and dedicated friend, they wrote. His integrity, creativity, and generosity define him. Dan's passion for the paranormal was rooted in a genuine desire to educate, help connect others, whether through social media, conventions, or investigations with local families seeking understanding and peace. Whew, okay. We understand that Dan's work inspired fascination and curiosity for many, but above all, he was a father, devoted husband, and loyal friend, someone who meant the world to those closest to him. According to a Facebook post by Ryan Buell, the host of A&E Paranormal State, Rivera was an Army veteran. He survived by his wife and children. This is really, really sad. So, I mean, in general, of course, our thoughts and condolences are with the family. I don't understand this whole situation. The doll was in Louisiana when the prisoners broke out. Oh, okay. So this was a thing. Okay. So why are they taking that thing in tours and spreading demon energy anywhere? Lord have mercy. That's the question. Listen, I don't know about you guys, but that's a good question. Is there an educational piece to this? You take this doll everywhere. The doll has to remain in a glass thing to contain the spirit. So this is what the thought is, right? So when they took it out of the glass thing, does that then let the spirit go away? You know, I've had some. That's why I don't mess around with that. I don't. Um, yeah, I'm a little even talking about it now, kind of. But I said I'm gonna talk about it just a little bit. I really do hope that that this was just I mean, that's what it sounds like. But to me, it's like it's paranormal stuff, y'all. Like you can't really. It's not anything that you can do to really figure that out. Yeah, that's what they said. The glass is to contain it. You said the glass is all it takes to contain the spirit or a demon. It can't break glass. I mean, there's a saying that says don't throw stones at glass houses, So, oh, really? Oh, he has. I have to watch some of his stuff on it. I have a lot of questions. I just don't get it. Lorraine would never allow it. Does that doll in the box look like it's from 1960s? It's a newish one. It looks very well maintained. I mean, even like if you look at the fabric on it, there's no yellowing to it. Typically like when it's an older doll, there's like and I mean clearly it hasn't been handled very much, but I'm looking at it and I'm like, you would think that the fabric, given the age, would have became a little bit yellow or like discolored or anything like that. I didn't think you were supposed to do that. Never touch or move Annabelle. Lord have mercy. Allegedly, they put a spell on the glass case so the demon can't get out. That's too much. You said, I have enough bad luck in the way it is. I don't mess with the bad juju stuff. You don't. You just don't touch it. And the thing is, it's like, I don't know. I think we just have to be careful. Demons don't age that way. Well, that's the thing is, pause. Like, correct. So if this thing is possessed, right? And like it's been able to keep its, Raggedy Ann look, right? Because it's a Raggedy Ann doll. I just wouldn't want to get near it. That's it. Negative energy gets stopped by glass. That's the question. I don't know. ChatGPT said, like, y'all are funny. ChatGPT said glass doll was never taken. It's a rumor. Okay, hold up. Because I heard that it was missing. That's why when I heard this, Annabelle doll missing. But they took it on a tour? Like, if you look at now, it's under a red light, y'all. Like, it's under a red light. They took it on a tour, right? And the thing about this is that whether you believe in this or not, one thing I have learned, and this is a cultural thing, you respect it. You respect it. Whether you believe it or not, you respect it. Whether you just got to respect. That's it. Okay? So if I'm hearing that there's a tour and this doll is like around, so is the tour going to continue? That's the question that I have. Who's going to take over the tour and are they going to touch this doll? And the thing is this is all paranormal stuff. So you do have to kind of wonder. But the doll was never, look, I misspelled Annabelle. Sorry, y'all. Was it ever missing? See, somebody asked this a month ago, did the Annabelle doll actually go missing? It didn't go missing. The OG Annabelle doll that belonged to the Warrens is still in the same museum it's always been. But why do they take it to a tour? This is Reddit. Take it for what it's worth. Clearly, it's not research. It's just somebody's opinion. So did the Annabelle doll go missing? Okay, so I saw something. on Twitter claiming that Annabelle doll, yes, the Annabelle doll from the Warren collection, was lost or went missing. At first, I thought it was a joke or one of those random Twitter hoaxes, but then I did a little digging on Google, and now I'm not so sure it actually is true. Honestly, with how weird things have been in 2024, 2025, this just feels like another layer of the what the hell is going on. And I'm not saying I fully believe it, but it's definitely spooky if real. Has anyone else heard anything about it? They need to leave that alone. Why put this doll in a glass? Why not just burn the doll? Just saying. The doll went missing to generate publicity. They know exactly where it is. So they made a publicity stunt out of this. It's crazy. So expect a movie in 2 years. So now The Conjuring is probably going to come about another movie. See, somebody said here, no, I follow Ryan on Paranormal State on FB, and he posted the video addressing this and says she's not missing. This is going to cause another Conjuring movie to start based off of his death. That's what's going to happen. They claim it's for educational purposes. That was the Warrens' whole gig. Educate the public. Okay, but just like if it's dangerous for the public, if they're saying that, what are we educating the public on exactly? A doll okay. All right. I'm going to leave it at that. That's what I gotta say. I'm gonna leave it at that. Chef, thank you for renewing your membership. Shout out to you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Make sure you guys are hitting the like. They claim for educational purposes. Okay, all right then. It's gonna be another movie. The rag doll does not scare me. The doll from the movie scares the hell out of me. Yeah, that doll, that porcelain face. Nope. Would the Warrens have moved the doll? You said I grew up Catholic, so I start laughing at things. I remember the holy yeah. I mean, I was raised Catholic, but spirits are legit, but it seems different than genuine. Okay. Monetary purposes? Charge for a haunted doll, and people do pay for that, right? They're gonna make a movie off of that. Watch. Anyways, so of course, sad situation, and hopefully the family will heal from that. But was it caused by the doll? We'll never know, because there is no checkbox in a coroner's report that says this he handled the doll and then that caused his death. That's the thing. For me, I believe that you mess with things like that, there might have been some underlying health conditions that might have exacerbated a lot of this. But you mess with stuff like that, and you think that stuff don't get on you? No. You don't do that. Okay. All right. You said this is wild. I'm sorry, but it is sad news, because it's a sad situation, right? Because a family did lose a father and a husband and everything, but at the same time, it's like, yo, people got to stop playing with stuff like that, because it's not good. Not good. Okay. Let's get into this. Well, now I'm going to leave Maurene Comey alone for a minute, because I want to get into, you guys, listen, I think this is a distraction. I think it's bullshit, but okay. Obama's going to go to jail, y'all. But, I have to keep things even when I talk about all this stuff. All right. So go ahead. Drag me in the comments. The people are saying that Obama is going to jail. Maybe he is. I don't know. But they're saying that Obama's going to jail. Yes. Now hold up. Didn't I have the articles here? I guess not. Damn it. Hold up. Here it is. Here it is. My goodness. What did he do? He's going to jail. They say he's going to jail. Let's get into this news. I think her last name is Gabbard. Tulsi Gabbard. Gabbard threatens Obama officials with criminal referral over 2016 election assessment. Okay. So the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi, on Friday threatened to refer Obama administration officials to the Justice Department for prosecution over the intelligence assessment of Russia's 2016 election interference. In the latest example of officials going after perceived enemies of Donald Trump. They're going to start arresting bloggers too. I'm already in jail. They're going to throw away the key. I'm going to need some bail funding. I'm going to need some of you guys to donate. I don't have a GoFundMe for it yet, but they might throw me in jail too. because I'm not a fan. Actually, I'm not a fan of all of them, but they said that they're going to throw everybody in jail. Freedom. I mean, they're trying to deport what's her face because she don't like the president and she's been talking shit. They might as well going to do that to the bloggers too. If you've been talking shit about this guy, you're going to jail. Okay. Now, in all seriousness, let me be very serious. If they found something wrong about the situation, they should be investigated. People should be looked at. And if it's a legitimate situation where an elected official and somebody did something, yeah, throw their asses in jail, prosecute them, take them to court, do all that. Okay? Do all that. But I do wonder if this is the latest of the perceived of the latest example of the officials going after perceived enemies of Donald Trump. Everybody's an enemy. Everybody. Tulsi declassified documents Friday that she claimed were evidence that Obama administration intelligence officials manufactured and politicized intelligence to lay the groundwork for the FBI's Russian investigation into Trump. In a post, Gabbard said that she was turning over all the documents to the DOJ for criminal referral, though she didn't specify whether she was referring to any specific officials. A criminal referral does not necessarily mean that the Justice Department will investigate or prosecute her. Well, under this administration, it seems like they're very selective about who they're going to go after, especially after that letter that revealed specifically that the FBI got together and they combed over 100,000 of documents, and then they red flags the ones that said whether it was Trump or not a part of this situation. They were very, very, very selective about who they were going to go after. You think it's a distraction? Isn't this part of Donald Trump's "it's about treason to the United States"? Yes, Don, say it. And that's what I'm saying is, if there was treason, hell, investigate it if a criminal referral goes through, because that's not okay, right? Like, we don't want that. But thank you, Gabbard. Let me stop. There you go. Don't forget, Tulsi was a Democrat during the Obama times. So, beautiful messy ball, do you find this mighty convenient? Okay. That suddenly she's turning it. She's like, now because I know information, I'm going to turn it all over there. But she's the one leading the investigation. Well, what about the child trafficking treason? Right. Like the Epstein files. I mean, I would say it's a lot of stuff going on there. But according to Trump and his Supreme Court, Obama has presidential immunity. I mean, not under this new world order. It sounds like he can go after people. He can revoke citizenships of folks that don't have the same sharing narrative. She says she grew up in a cold. Oh, man. Oh, we said then DT and half of his cabinet needs to be under the jail. Lord. That's what I'm saying, y'all. Some of these politicals, I don't know. I wasn't there. I wasn't in the office when all this went down. But I will say that if something did go wrong, hell, they should investigate it. Why not? Investigate it. But let it make sure that it's an authentic investigation and not about, I don't like you and I'm going to go after you. Because that's the part where people lose people. This allows them to look at the emails regarding Obama and the children. See? Don't take political advice from me. I'm literally just commentating on the things that, don't make sense, right? Or make sense, or some of the news that's going out there. This might be minor, but Joe Rogan wasn't at the FUC event last night. He had some words for DT recently. Wasn't Joe Rogan like crying on a video? Like he looked like he was, I don't know. Like he had this like look on him and he was crying. He's like, oh my God, I'm really gonna puke. I'm really gonna puke. No, that wasn't Joe Rogan. That was, what's his name? Alex Jones. That was Alex Jones. Sorry, different people. Alex Jones was the one that was like, I don't like Alex Jones. I don't. But I have to wonder, said all these YT people involved and people got to try to find ways to tie Obama, please. Young black economists, this is what the people are saying. This is why I'm like, and I'm not saying it. The people, the elected officials right now are saying that this is what's going to happen. I personally think it's a distraction from the Epstein files. That's what I think. I think it's a distraction. I think that where he's grasping at straws and trying to, like, can you address the Epstein stuff first? Like, address that before we go anywhere else. You know what I mean? I don't know. Joe Rogan, Alex, and different flavor of white tea. True, true. Look at Obama to be arrested for what? This is so they're putting in a criminal referral. That's what it sounds like. This is what this lady is saying. Tulsi is saying is she's putting in a criminal referral. She says she's turning over all documents to the DOJ for criminal referral, though she didn't specify whether she was referring to any specific officials. A criminal referral does not necessarily mean that the Justice Department will investigate or prosecute. I have a feeling that this is something that's going to be pushed by Trump because of just the things that he's been saying lately. Earlier this month, however, CNN reported that the FBI investigated former CIA Director John Brennan and former CIA Director James Comey for possible false statements to Congress following a referral from the current CIA Director John Ratcliffe, which was also related to the intelligence assessment on Russia's election interference. Both Tulsi and Ratcliffe declassified the documents this month as part of an effort to undermine the intelligence community in 2017 assessment that Russia interfered in the 2016 U.S. election and tried to help Trump defeat Hillary Clinton, a conclusion that contributed to Trump's long-standing distrust of the intelligence community. Okay. Other reviews did not discover such issues. However, including a bipartisan 2020 Senate Intelligence Committee report that supported the intelligence community assessment of Russian interference in the 2016 election. Democrats criticized Gabbard's release Friday as an attempt to rewrite history. Okay. Is it an attempt to rewrite history? That is the question. The Senate Intelligence Committee conducted a bipartisan investigation reviewing hundreds and thousands of documents, interviewing witnesses over several years. The unanimous bipartisan conclusion was that Russia interfered in the 2016 election to benefit Donald Trump. Senate Mark Warner of Virginia, the top Democrat on the committee, said in a statement, "This is just another example of the DNI trying to cook the books, rewrite history, and erode the trust in the intelligence agencies she's supposed to be leading." So, Connecticut Rep. Jim Hines, the top Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee, said in a statement, "Every legitimate investigation, including the bipartisan Senate Intelligence Committee investigations, found no evidence of politicization." I can't say this word. Let me stop. And endorsed the findings of the 2016 Intelligence Community Assessment. Lord, I think I need more coffee. The FBI criminal investigation into Trump's campaign ties to Russia began in 2016 and stretched into the first Trump administration. It then became the subject of investigation by the Justice Department Inspector General, by Special Counsel John Durham, who was appointed by Attorney General Bill Barr to also examine the handling of intelligence that led to the Trump-Russia probe. Okay, the probe ended with no findings of wrongdoing in the handling of the investigation, but it did end with the indictment of 3 people, including a former FBI lawyer who pleaded guilty to falsifying information in a surveillance warrant request targeting a Trump campaign aide. The thing is that if it needs to be investigated, I just don't know if I trust anybody investigating. This has been going on. Thomas Jefferson had a little girl tied up in his closet that he could already time with the president. There you go. And they still praised him daily. Lord have mercy. New photos and articles surfacing with DT and GM. He was closer to them than what is known, in my opinion. I would agree. Okay, so listen, we gonna move on because we have to talk about Mr. This was the Obama news. Y'all let me know what you guys think. My opinion, I believe that this is just a distraction to some of the stuff that's been happening. And actually, it's been a lot of people. I've been a little bit surprised that a lot of MAGA supporters, not surprised actually, because I think that just speaks to the fact that people really want to know the truth regardless of where you stand and on what side. And I think that's important, that people aren't going to allow Trump to deflect or scurry off into something else. I'm telling you that I've been amazed to see, but also I know that some of these people, because they want to know the truth, and they elected him specifically because they felt like he was going to drain the swamp, when in reality it sounds like he might actually be swimming in it with Shrek. Mhm. I mean, that's the reality of the situation. You think it's a distraction? Yeah. You think it's BS? Okay. All right. Well, let's get into it. Okay. Let's get into it. So, Comey. This dropped, I believe, 2 days ago. When did it drop? I missed it. On the 17th. I read some of it, but not all of it. Give me one sec, y'all. Give me one sec, guys. Let's get into this. So this dropped. So this is the actual letter. And I missed this part, and I wanted to read it. Now, for those that don't know, Comey was a prosecutor in the Southern District of New York. We got the breaking news. Was it Wednesday, guys, or Thursday? I think it was Wednesday. We got the breaking news that she had been fired. And, we covered the Diddy trial here. She was the lead prosecutor for that. Yes, honey? Sorry, guys. Give me 1 second. I got to close my door. Sorry, guys. I got to make sure that baby bunny is set up with her sitter. Y'all know I got to make sure that that's set up before I really get into it. She was here and then she left. Okay. So let's get it together. All right. So Comey. Where was I at? So Comey was the head prosecutor for the Diddy trial. She's been, there for Epstein and Maxwell, and she's been head of a lot of things. And so she gets fired. I believe it was Wednesday when we heard the news. We broke the news on this channel. So she gets fired. Lady gets fired, and a lot of us were like, well, that's weird and that's awkward because, Trump is over here dealing with the backlash of the Epstein files. Lady gets fired. We don't know if that's connected. We don't know anything, right? And then some of us, I know people that watched the Diddy trial, were kind of wondering, well, is this somehow connected to the maybe performance with the Diddy trial? I don't know. There was a little bit of a statement that she gave to the people that she told that she was being fired to. Basically told them that, that she was basically didn't know why she was being fired. She was just being let go. So it's a lot of questions that we have about the situation. You said the DOJ dropped the ball on all investigations into the police brutality because Trump told them to. We were effed. Oof. So my daughter, let's see. Well, let's see. I'm looking at all the comments. This is a good point right here, because I think that there's some truth to that, right? And so then they don't want to, now with the Epstein file controversy, is this why they don't want to look into this anymore? There's just so many whys and a lot of questions behind why people aren't doing their jobs, why they don't want to move forward. And then there's inconsistencies in the things that people are putting out there. It just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense, y'all. It doesn't. Hey, Sylvia. Hey, everybody. Apparently, let's see. She what with no reason. That's what she said. Imagine just graduating from law school and there's no laws. Ain't that some ish? She was almost there, close to 10 years in this office. And you would think that like somebody who prosecuted Maxwell, who was moving forward with, all these other stuff, and they would just let her go like that. That's crazy. Like, there's a level of protection in government jobs about this, Do you think he tells us a little bit more about this? Well, let me tell you something about Jonathan Oddie. So for those that are like, who's Jonathan Oddie? Jonathan Oddie was somebody who came to light in 2019. He had an interrogation with police. He shot up the Trump Hotel Tower. He was doing freak offs, or he did a freak off with Cassie and Diddy. Okay. He said all this stuff in a 2019 interrogation, and nobody really paid attention to. And then it came back up because then people started listening to what he's saying. But in this interrogation, he didn't just mention Cassie or Diddy. He mentioned Trump. He mentioned a lot of people, and then he was paid off, and then he lost his fucking mind and shot up the hotel. One of the questions that people don't ask is what led up to Jonathan Oddie shooting up that hotel? The Trump Tower or whatever in Florida. Okay. He's got so many chains. What led up to it? That was the question that a lot of us had. Look, that's interesting. So maybe there's something to that. Maybe, who knows? We didn't get to hear this whole story. No, we didn't. No, honestly, portions of it. And just recently, while the Diddy trial was happening, he was doing interviews. He got to tell his side. He signed an NDA. So there's a lot more to the story that's not really being shared or said. He's still sitting in prison. I wonder if they did anything with his case. That's a question. Hold up, y'all. I got to blow my nose. That's a great question, because sorry, y'all. It's something was tickling my nose. I just don't know. You said he might not be in prison, just the legal system. Okay. Say more. You said Audie lived in Florida near the underwater Area 51. Just saying, oh, Lord have mercy. Listen, I don't know. And when it comes to Jonathan Audie, you kind of have to put your little tinfoil and embrace the tinfoil. You have to learn how to embrace the tinfoil when you talk about some of this stuff. Sometimes it drives me a little bit crazy because I can't always embrace the tinfoil, but sometimes we have to embrace it. But so Maurene, I guess, left a letter specifically, and we got to talk about it. Okay. Read Epstein's prosecutor Maurene Comey's letter to colleagues after DOJ firing. So we did read this part, and we only read like portions of it, but this is her full letter, I guess. Fear is the tool of a tyrant, wrote the daughter of the former FBI director James Comey, a frequent target of President Donald Trump. Fired federal prosecutor Maurene Comey sent an email Thursday morning to her former colleagues. So there was an email that a bunch of people received at the Manhattan U.S. Attorney's Office warning that it's becoming harder for them to do their job without fear. What does she know? What does Maurene Comey know? What does this even mean? Did she have a target because her last name is Comey, or was there other nefarious shit that was going on between her and her father? Or are we just going after her because her last name is Comey? Like, people in my comments, there have been people in my comments. Let me tell you, I think I took a screenshot out of this one because I thought it was an interesting comment. People have come to my comments and said some crazy, and I wouldn't say crazy, but because I'm trying to understand what's behind it. Let's see if I can pull that screenshot. think I hearted it. Let's see. It was something to the effect of like, this woman, she's kind of questionable or something like that. And I think people are questioning her because of her father specifically. Now I have to kind of wonder, did she do something specifically that would make people question her? Or what's the issue? Or is it because of her dad? Is it the fact that it's her dad and so then people feel like they can question her? Which one is it? Maybe she's protecting her father. Blood is thicker than water. Okay. Could be. Let me see. Maureen had something to do regarding the sealing dogs for Jizzy and Jeff. Okay. Um, did she seal them? Was it a purposeful thing? Well, why were they sealed? Were the things that they were trying to protect? I bet she was building a case. Okay. All right. Said, I believe Audie on certain parts, but I also think Ruggs fried his brain. Trump is big mad. Okay. Said, so I have to kind of wonder about this. He says, Shake, that's enough Luigi out there. Okay, I read this comment. Hold up. Let me see. I think a lot of black and stuff is going on. Okay. She says she was square in the middle of Epstein case. He got off. She tried the Diddy case. He got off with the least amount of charges too. Her father has a history of corruption too, aside from Trump. So could this have been the thing that might have canned the lady? Like, is that what it is? We'll never know. But when she says this, it's becoming harder for them to do their jobs without fear. Who is she fearing? That's the question. Okay. If a career prosecutor can be fired without reason, she should know why she was fired. Fear may seep into the decision of those who remain, she wrote. Do not let that happen. Fear is the tool of the tyrant. Yield to suppress independent thought. The email was first reported by Political. Okay. And this is the full email. Yesterday was unexpectedly my last day in the office. I was summarily fired via memo from Maine Justice that did not give a reason for my termination. Every person lucky enough to work in this office constantly hears 4 words to describe our ethos. Without fear or favor, do the right thing the right way for the right reasons without fear of retribution and without favor to the powerful. For the majority of my nearly 10 years in SDNY, fear was never really conceivable. We don't fear bad press. We have the luxury of exceptional security keeping us physically safe. And so long as we did our jobs with integrity, we would get to keep serving the public in this office. Our focus was really on acting without favor. That is making sure people with access, money, and power were not treated differently than anyone else. This is bullshit coming from Comey. That I do call. And making sure this office remains separate from politics and focus only on the facts and law. Let me tell you why this is bullshit. Go back to Diddy trial. That specific reason, that celebrity that they were trying to keep hush hush, who a lot of us believe was Kanye West. Jane Doe was testifying. She was on the stand and she was talking about how there was a celebrity, okay, who Jane Doe was flying to meet in Vegas, and it was a celebrity and the wife, and some stuff happened with the S worker there and all that. God, it feels like such a long time ago that we reviewed this, but it really wasn't that long. So that being said, is I just feel like when they say here specifically when she says that is making sure that access, money, and power were not treated differently than anyone else, it's bullshit. Because they definitely kept that different and separate. They didn't want to release that name. They wanted to protect those names. Now, could it be because they have a separate investigation going on into that situation? Yeah, potentially. But there was a push to keep certain things sealed and safe. And there was a lot that the public did not know when it came to the Diddy trial. And there's a lot of unanswered questions when it comes to the Diddy trial. Like, why didn't they interview other witnesses? What happened here? What happened there? So there's a lot of things that we'll never understand that do not make sense when it comes to the Diddy trial. And that's just a fact. That's how it is. So I find it to be interesting that Comey says, making sure that people were not treated differently. People are treated differently. Okay. Money makes people treat you differently. And that's just a fact. That's just how society works. All right. A special treatment is a real thing in the criminal justice system. But we have entered a new phase where without fear may be the challenge. If a career prosecutor can be fired without reason, fear may seep into the decisions of those who remain. She says without reason. If they fired her this way, I wonder if this is just a thought. I'm not I can't see into the future, but I do wonder if there's going to be criminal charges coming up against her on some level, on something. Listen, y'all gonna think I'm crazy, but I do wonder if she was being investigated, because they can do that to you. They can investigate you. People get investigated all the time without even knowing that they're being investigated. They start looking into you, pulling stuff out, and whatever it may be, and then they do, give you the boot. Then later on, you find out that there's charges against you about something you didn't do or did do. And then there starts, you got to get your attorney. She probably knows. She can't say it because I'm in my opinion, I worked in government and I've seen people be given the boot without even notice, but they let her find out why. And typically, if they've been removed the way that they have, there's typically an investigation that follows after that. I do wonder if it's something to do with her father specifically. I don't think this has anything to do with the Diddy trial. I honestly think this has to do with the Epstein files. A lot of this has to do with that. And it's very specific to the timing, guys. Very specific. They literally waited for the trial to be done a couple weeks after the trial was done. Okay? When did the trial finish? The first week of July. We're still in it's July 20th, guys, and it feels like the longest month ever because of all of these events that have been happening in the news. Don't you think? Like, isn't it crazy? She got let go the first week of July, second or first week. The trial ended the first week, right? Because it ended before 4th of July. And then, wait. I don't want to misspeak. God, it feels like such a long time ago. And then Monday was July 5th, 6th? Anyways, so yeah. And we still needed sentencing. We left it at that, right? So I don't think that this has anything to do with Diddy. I think they waited for the Diddy trial. I think they were looking at her, and I think it has to do with the Epstein files. That's what I believe. What if she's the only one saying that she doesn't know why she probably does, but doesn't want to say why? Yeah, very likely the case that she knows why, but doesn't want to say why. Isn't that crazy? Tomorrow's the 21st. I don't know. It's a lot of this is not making sense. So, okay, let's keep going. She further says, do not let that happen. Fear is a tool of the tyrant. You'll suppress independent thought. Excuse me. Instead of fear, let this moment fuel the fire that already burns at the heart of this place. A fire of righteous indignation at abuses of power, of commitment to seek justice for victims, our dedication to truth above all else. It has been an honor to fight for those principles by your side, Maurene. That's the entire email letter. That's the entire letter. So the fear is that people can be let go of the situation. Now, Damian Williams, who was the prosecutor who brought all of these charges before Maurene took over, Damian Williams was the one that I believe he voluntarily he resigned. There was changes in a lot of the stuff that was happening. I believe it had to do with the administration. He's like, I'm out this bitch. And Damian Williams brought charges against, not only Diddy, Eric Adams, Mike Jeffries, and others. There was another case that I was looking at that he was also bringing charges. He was leading that. And then when he left, all of these cases were left to these other prosecutors. Okay? So there is that. I don't know what you're talking about. Let me see. Let me put you on timeout. Thank you. Okay. Go take a nap. Okay, but like the YSL, literally no money exchange hands. Would he use a car Young Thug rented? But he rented a lot of those cars to people. That's not an enterprise. So let Redrum walk for no reason, in my opinion. Comey's letter can just as well indicate that she didn't, with no fear, no favor principles. Yeah, to act to pressure again. Maybe she was being pressured. You know what I mean? You said Eric Adams is a spy? Eric Adams is a flip-flopper. I don't know what to tell you. Like, Eric Adams, I'm not impressed. And the audacity to think that he can. Anyways, let me stop. Don't forget he was did he run the city, give him the key to the city, and then he gets in trouble and somehow he's able not to walk out of that. Okay, that's just weird to me, but you can just flip and then you'll be fine. I mean, I guess people would do it if you didn't have to go to prison. That's what he that's what he did. Let me know what you guys think about Comey's letter. Now, guys, there is so much footage happening and coming about as it pertains to like Donald Trump's dealings with, like, I don't know, a lot of videos have resurfaced, videos that have already been put out there. Here's the deal: is the problem that I have with resurfacing a video. No, you cannot take a timeout. You got to stay here. Shout out to you. I just had to time out somebody who kept flooding. I don't know what to make of Eric Adams. One minute he's saying this. I think he's an opportunist. I definitely think, and I think that, I mean, I don't want to go to jail, so sure, I'll go one way or the other. Oh yes, he was being investigated for this. Eric Adams was messing around with Turkey, not Russia. It was Turkey. He was using government money. This is how I don't understand how the hell he's not charged. Why? And I get it. He called himself the what did he call himself when he was running? He was the Joe Biden of the people or something like that. Oh my God. I said, and then he changed his tune suddenly when he realized he was going to prison. I never said that. I never did that. The man was using government money to fly to Turkey, first class, stay, like a lot of government money. How the hell do you stay in that position? I used to have to deal with money, contracts and money and stuff like that in the government. Let me tell you something. I would account for every penny that I had to account for when it came to the government. Because bitch, you are not coming after me with some indictment or something about 55 cents is missing out of this account. Nope. No, especially with the government. No. That shit right there. Now it's coming back to me, young black economists. That's what it was. Nope. So that's what happened. How does he walk away from those charges? I don't get that. I don't know. Oh yes, and then he was gifting left and right, center for favor. That's right. So he suddenly changed his tune and he was like, all for Trump. And I was like, really? Oh, you're not trying to go to jail. And anyways, so that happened. That was weird how that switched up. Okay. So yeah, we have that is the pandemic of this nation. We have the fact that people can't be held accountable for the things that they say. That is the real pandemic of this situation. Now, oh man, let me see. I do wonder how and what is happening here and everything else that's in between, right? Like, anyways, so people are talking about hidden videos. I don't think that let me be very real. This is the shit that drives me crazy. These Donald Trump videos of him being in pageants, of him hugging up on people, those aren't hidden videos. There's a disturbing video that's out there that I do want to show you guys that I was like, what the hell is this? Oh, okay. And I'll show it to you guys. But these are not hidden videos. These are well-known videos that have been out there. So I'm not really sure why we have this little outrage going on. Hold up. Let me see if I can find it. Where did I put it? There's a video out there. I think it's on Twitter. See if I can pull it. Where he is sitting down with his wife and they're doing an extra interview. And he had his little daughter And let's see. Oh yeah, here it is. It's an insider. This is one that I had never seen before. Okay, this is concerning. 1994 videos going viral of Donald Trump making disturbing remarks about his 1-year-old daughter's areas. This is not normal. Every American needs to see that. This is the shit that gets me. You're not unearthing anything. The American people have seen this before. They just chose not to pay attention to this shit. Okay. All right.
What does Tiffany have of yours, and what does Tiffany have of Marla's?
Well, I think that she's got a lot of moral, and she's really a beautiful baby, and she's got Marla's legs. We don't know whether or not she's got this part yet, but time will tell.
A 1-year-old. Talking about a child's legs. We don't know if she's got this part yet. A 1-year-old. A 1-year-old. We don't know if she got this part yet. That's cute, right? Like that's first of all, I don't know a father who would say some shit like that about their daughter. That's just, I'm sorry, y'all. It is what it is. Let me play it again, okay?
What does Tiffany have of yours, and what does Tiffany have of Marla's?
Well, I think that she's got a lot of moral, and she's really a beautiful baby, and she's got Marla's legs. We don't know whether or not she's got this part yet, but time will tell.
What does Tiffany have of yours, and what does Tiffany?
I mean, and this is 1994. Clearly, this is such a long time ago. The Midas Touch, and I believe Candace Owens, which, by the way, you guys know I'm not a fan of Candace Owens. I know some of you guys said, you should really watch her stuff. I just don't like, the thing about Candace Owens is that she flip-flops way too much for me. In the things that she says. Historically, she'll say one thing and then another thing. I can't keep up with her. Yeah, I don't know how you objectify, right, Maggie? I don't get this. A 1-year-old. Yeah, in Susan, like, this is in 1994, so I don't know what to, like. I'm like, all right, like, let me think of this way. Now, I have both of my parents. I was raised by both of my parents in one household, right? And never heard my father, or if anybody spoke about me or my siblings in any way like that. I mean, you would unleash somebody you didn't want to see when it came to my dad. My dad is the most mellow kind of person. He's still overprotected till this day. Candace is willing to change her mind as she learns, she grows. Yeah, I just don't like, I get that. I'm willing to give you that, sure. But is she changing her mind for what's the word? Like, are you changing your mind because you're learning, or is it benefiting you in a different way? That's the problem that I have. I'm just not a fan. I'm not, and y'all are entitled to your opinions. I don't like the way in which she talks about people or how she treats people. There's certain parts of her that I can't do. I used to support her a lot. Then anyways, but that's just my thought. You guys are entitled to your opinion. Yeah, Tiffany and her father have big issues. Wonder why. Well, what is that one? There's a lady on YouTube who's related to Trump. And she does videos daily. Matter of fact, she grew her channel off of exposing Trump. And this is the family. This is within her family. She literally gets like thousands of people in the chat. And she's there exposed. Like, like I was like, oh my God. What is it Mary Trump? Mary Trump. That's what it is. Oh my God. Have y'all ever watched her stuff? It's the niece. She exposes him so what happened? Listen, I'm not that invested in the personal lives of the Trumps like that. I really am not. I probably should be, right? But I'm not. But it made you wonder all of that. What happened? Mary Trump is a psychologist. I didn't know that. Hey, Lexi, how are you? I didn't know that. She's awesome, clinical psychologist, and very humble. Really? She hates him? And they're related? Imagine being related to somebody that you hate and their president. You better be careful, Mary. He might deport you too, girl. They might deport you too. Be careful. Be careful how you speak, because I'm surprised he hasn't sued her. Now he is suing Rupert Murdoch. He's suing the Dow Jones. He's suing, the Wall Street Journal, as if they lied, which I'm wondering, like, should they need to authenticate some of that information that they have, that they said that they have, that was disclosed to them. I wonder how they went about that, and I hope that the Wall Street Journal gives a statement. I want to follow that to figure that out, because otherwise, we have to be careful, and I think we need to hold the media accountable, because he does use this thing where they lied, and they have lied about him. We have to be honest about certain aspects. So, yeah. Why do you think Melania don't talk, girl? Sue them all, says last Ronan. Shout out to Ronan. But yeah, that won't come again. All right, so y'all know I don't like these political people, because it's you guys, I've said it before. So it's very easy to get into a hole of a situation when it comes to this situation, where it's like, one minute they're supporting this, and then the next minute they're supporting that. And I think this is why it's good to be a little bit well-rounded in various areas. We have to acknowledge when somebody does something good for the community, but we also have to criticize the things that they're missing, because they need to hear what the people have to say. And I honestly think it's social media that has led Trump to finally, get something going with the courts, but we know it's not going to be anything. What are they releasing exactly? Think about it. What are they releasing exactly? The transcripts? Really? I know, Rowan. And this has been a challenge for me. I'll tell you that. Never talk about religion or politics. I don't do that at my household. And I said, and the fact that we're even talking about this topic, I really wanted to challenge myself with it, because I don't like, it's gotta be people over politics, guys. These are everyday things that are happening to us, but we're putting the politics before the people and making decisions for the politicians and the people that sit there. But the ones that are getting screwed is everybody else around here. When do we go? When do we move on and say, let's put people first? Can we put people first? And can we criticize people? Even if you voted for them, we should be able to do that. Okay? I'm here for that. People over politics every day, any day. Not parties, not what Elon did, talk about America's first. No, that's still more politics. People over politics. Okay? You know what? I'm telling you, man. I'm surprised that's not even part of their issue on Annabelle. # release the Annabelle one. Okay, guys. So, like I said, some of these clips on Trump, I don't think are anything new. We've seen it. We've seen the creepy stuff. We've seen, the questionable stuff. Does that necessarily make this man, put him in a certain light? Yeah, it does. In my opinion, it does. But he's still running this country, and we have to figure out, like, okay, what are we making sense out of this? How do we base this? All this other stuff. So Midas Touch has a clip up here that I want to play, and this is Epstein victim Maria Farmer, who I believe, I think she's one of the ones that kind of went into hiding. She might be around, but she doesn't really want to have anything to do with a lot of folks because of just the concern of safety. Epstein victim Maria Farmer, Ivana Trump was Ghislaine's best friend. Donald was always hanging out with Epstein, and Ivana was always hanging out with Ghislaine. We'd ride in her car with Ghislaine and Ivana. I remember one occasion where Ghislaine's like, I have to get out right now. And she went and got a number from a child, and everybody knew what they were doing. She didn't bring them in the car, but she would get their phone numbers. She would drive by schools. Okay. So to try and shut me up, they gave me one of those cheap bracelets Ivana was selling on QVC and said, Ivana wants you to have this. And I threw it in the garbage. Not QVC bracelet, girl. No.
Ivana Trump was like her best friend.
And with
Ivana.
Yeah, with Ivana, then, yeah, I described that, she'd be there.
That was creepy. So at the time, Ivana had this, she was doing QVC, selling jewelry, right? Online. I mean, on TV. She was like a QVC queen.
I remember. Y'all remember QVC? Wait, is that still even going? Do you guys purchase stuff from QVC? I've always wanted to. Sorry, side note. Now I'm going on a tangent. I always wanted to purchase stuff on QVC, but I was too broke. But then it wasn't like really geared towards my age when QVC was like a hot thing. I remember watching Nancy Grace, and then it was QVC afterwards. QVC reruns, and I'd be like, that's a cute purse, or that's a cute this. I don't know about this.
Donald Trump. And Donald Trump was always hanging out with Epstein, and Ivana was always hanging out with Ghislaine.
Right.
And Ivana would say, we're going to go pick up Ivana, or Ivana's going to come. And we'd ride in the car with her. And I remember one occasion where Ghislaine's like, I have to get out right now. And she went and got a number from a child, and I in a uniform.
Yeah. And
everybody knew what they were doing. Everybody who surrounded them knew exactly what they were doing.
And but how often? Did you go for rides often with her and Ivana? Or,
yes.
And would she pick up girls all the time?
Yes. She didn't bring them in the car. She would get their phone numbers.
That's crazy.
Right.
But she would drive by schools.
Right. So
as they got out.
So would she? Yeah. And what's Ivana doing at this point? What are
sitting in the car. And I'll never forget, because one day I was really weirded out by what had happened. I was really weirded out. So I'm sorry, my phone's beeping in. Just give it a second. But anyway, I've got to go in a second. But I just wanted to tell you, I was weirded out when they were driving around with this. So Ghislaine just shut me up, gave me one of those cheap bracelets Ivana was selling on QVC, and said, Ivana wants you to have this. And I threw it in the garbage.
Ooh, she said, no, I threw it in the garbage, y'all. Those QVC bracelets. Isn't that crazy? So the allegation that she's making here is pretty deep, but I don't know. Maria and her sisters were both victims that testified against Jeff and Ghislaine. She first reported them to the FBI and local authorities in 1996. In 1996, you guys, talk about a timeline. And by the way, shout out to everybody. Yes, right. QVC is pre-internet way to catalog shop. I just remember looking at those. People were addicted to QVC. It was a thing before Amazon, I think. Back then, I just remember I could never afford it. And then they had that little payment plans thing. Shout out to Maria Farmer. And I hope that, I don't blame these people for going and hiding. And you saw what happened with Regina Giuffre. Like, I don't find that to be a coincidence whatsoever at all. Like, I don't. So then I caught this video and I was like, let's talk about this video real quick. So what if Trump interferes with Maxwell's in prison?
Because you watch, Mark, with everybody focusing their attention on Epstein, there is one person who is alive right now who really does have all of the answers, and that's Ghislaine Maxwell, who's right.
Why don't they want to hear her? Why don't they want to hear about her? Why? This is the piece that I'm like, even you have representatives and people speaking out and saying like, no, we should be looking into this in the GOP specifically. They're saying we should be looking into this and we can't let this go. Hell, we talked about Pence the other day. Here's this representative. Tim doubles down on call for release of Epstein files. This was dropped today in the morning. Tennessee Republican Rep Tim, I think is it Burchett, on Sunday again calls for the release of the Department of Justice evidence against the late accuser Pedialyte Jeffrey Epstein, part of his growing Republicans calling for transparency in this case. A lot of the Republicans are saying we need transparency in this case. If there's nothing to hide, and the thing is you can't say, kind of like that letter that we read, you can't be red flagging if it's got President Trump's name on it. You can't. But here's a good example of even the people in that political party saying, like, we have to call this out and you need to release these documents. You do. Okay. And whatever's not sealed or whatever it may be, it's crazy. So I'm glad that he's speaking out, he says, I was a little ticked off. He said that stuff. Sure. I was like, but I'm a big boy, ma'am. We're playing in the big leagues right now. Trump has since directed Attorney Pam General Bondi to move to unseal grand jury evidence in Epstein's case as a start. I don't think we're ever going to get to the bottom of it all, ma'am. He says, this town doesn't give up its secrets very easy. There you go. I have a saying. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. If she finishes strong on this, then I'm all for it. I'm sure the learning curve is steep, and I think she blundered in the beginning. I really do, as most Americans do. See, again, they're stopping this is Bondi's situation. I don't think so. I don't think it's her. I think that there's a real fear about what's in these files and what can and can't be released. That's what it is. And it could be from both sides. It could be the fact that it involves both sides.
Right now under the custody of the Bureau of Prisons. She's in federal prison right now, serving out a 20-year prison term. And so what is the DOJ able to do as far as she's concerned in terms of I don't want to say interfering in this case, but how could she be helpful to the DOJ? Or how could the DOJ conversely be helpful for her if they have vested interest in keeping her quiet?
Right. So, her status has very recently become a central focus for a few reasons. The first is by sheer coincidence, and it is actually by sheer coincidence, the Department of Justice's response to her petition to the U.S. Supreme Court to overturn her conviction was due earlier this week. And we a lot of us who were otherwise not following these filings followed it very carefully, and the Department of Justice stood by the prosecution and said that her petition should be denied. So where we stand as we are recording this is that the Department of Justice has taken the position that her conviction was correct. It was proper. There was there was nothing wrong with it, and that.
But fire the person that convicted her. But fire the person that convicted her. Remove her from. So what happened? So she got so Comey got everything right, but the Diddy trial, and fire the person that convicted her. Go figure, right? Ain't that some shit? Or is it just me who thinks that way? Hey, I'm telling you, some don't sound right about this whole situation. He said Jeffrey told him, no, yours is in the next room. Lord have mercy. So who was in office when Epstein died, and who was in office when Maxwell was convicted? Ding, 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 ding. Too many things that are coincidental. I don't believe in coincidences, guys. I believe that just like I'm very spiritual, I believe that some things are meant to be in a way that they're meant to be, and things are meant to be exposed in the way in which they're meant to be exposed, right? Ain't that some shit? Some of us, like I said, we knew that this man was involved in stuff because it's been said, and there's videos that get unearthed that I'm like, what are you unearthing? They've been out since 1990, whatever. Like, just because you're posting it up again, it's not new. We've been knowing the shit that's been going on. But how do you bring somebody who, and this is how he campaigned. He said he was going to be transparent. He wants transparency, the deep this, the this and the that. And I'm like, well, okay. Who are we fighting for? Who are we fighting with? What are we fighting against again? I'm so confused. I really am. But okay.
Conviction should stand. Obviously, I start with that because the most obvious thing that we have seen Donald Trump do is he has abused the pardon power, right? So Donald Trump could grant a pardon, and the Supreme Court has largely said that the pardon power is absolute. So, it would be extremely untoward. It would be, problematic politically and from a variety of perspectives. But there's nothing that prevents Donald Trump from having word delivered to her that if she says or doesn't say certain things, he will deliver a pardon. He is immune from prosecution for bribery or anything like that. And like I said, the pardon power has really been held to be absolute. And so that is something that we, of course, would be watching very carefully about. But that's at one end of the spectrum.
He won't.
At the other end of the spectrum, that would.
And I'm not saying that she deserves to be pardoned. I don't think that she does. But if she has information, there's something that needs to be leveraged with that. And the thing is that because he's not doing it for the people, then you do have to kind of wonder, he's got to go outside of that. The elite deep doesn't matter if it's DR. Like, here is this, man. Even people are saying on Twitter, look.
If they were run by Chris Wray and they were run by Comey, and because it was actually even before that administration,
Right.
they've been running these files. And so much of the things that we found were fake with me. And so much of the things that we found were fake with me.
Huh? Wait a minute. Linda. He said what? He said what? Did y'all hear that? This is on a phone call. Did you hear? Did you? What's up? What you mean? What you mean? What you mean? Huh? What was fake? I'm gonna pull every Barbie face that I got. Which one? Replay that shit. Oh, hold up. Y'all heard that? Okay. Let me replay that. All right. This is on a telephone call, and I think we could pull the original video. Let me go back on this. Okay. All righty.
If they were run by Chris Wray and they were run by Comey, and because it was actually even before that administration,
Right.
they've been running these files. And so much of the things that we found were fake with me. And so much of the things that we found were fake with me. And so much of the things that we found were fake with me. If they were run by Chris Wray and they were run by
and so much of the things that were found were fake with me. Oh, so they were things found with you.
Comey, and because it was actually even before that administration,
Right.
they've been running these files. And so much of the things that we found were fake with me. And so much of the things that we found were fake with me. And so much of the things that we found were fake with me. If they were run by Chris Wray and they were run by Comey, and because it was actually even before that administration,
Right.
they've been running these files. And so much of the things that we found were fake with me. And so much of the things that we found were fake with me. And so much of the things that we found were fake with me. If they were run by Chris Wray and they were run by
Okay, it gets a little annoying because I keep playing it over and over. Hold up, I want to see the original call. It's called Just the News, No Noise. Just the News, no noise. No noise, because I want to make sure no noise. Yeah, they do have a YouTube channel. And when did this call happen? I don't think I have a date on it, but let's see. Was this Just News, No Noise? Let's see. This was Friday. They have a lot. We're going to have to pull this sound clip from somewhere, but it is a real channel. It's right here, y'all. It's right here. So they played that last part. He said it. Okay. He said it himself. Okay, so we're gonna find the original clip, but he said so much of what they found was fake when it came to him.
If they were run by Chris
One more
Wray,
time.
they were run by Comey, and because it was actually even before that administration,
Oh.
they've been running these files. And so much of the things that we found were fake with me. And so much of the things that we found were fake with me. And so much of the things that we found were fake with me. If they were,
They need to get that soundbite and put it in music. Anyways, let me stop. I think he's talking about the Russia stuff. Maybe. I don't know, man. He said he's talking about the files specifically. He said it was the files. Hold up. Look.
if they were run by Chris Wray and they were run by Comey, and because it was actually even before that administration,
Right.
they've been running these files.
They've been running these files.
And so much of the things that we found were fake with me. And so much of the things.
They've been running these files. It's specific to the files, okay? But that's what he said. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Epstein's ex-girlfriend describes his relationship with Trump. Okay. Let's see, what does the ex-girlfriend
Speaking out
say?
tonight, Stacey Williams, a former Sports Illustrated model who dated Epstein in the early 90s, has spent time with both Epstein and Donald Trump together. In one disturbing alleged incident, which Williams went public with last year before the presidential election, Williams says Trump groped her in front of Epstein at Trump Tower in 1993.
I heard about this.
Here's what she told our Sunland Serfati when she first broke her silence.
The second he was in front of me, he pulled me into him, and his hands were just on me and didn't come off. Then the hands started moving, and they were on the, on the side of my breasts, on my hips, back down to my butt, back up, sort of. Then, they were just on me the whole time. And I froze.
Williams also claimed that Epstein and Trump looked at each other and smiled during the alleged incident, which Williams says she now believes was coordinated and, quote, some kind of weird, twisted game. Trump denied Williams's allegations through his campaign at the time, which said in part, quote, it's obvious this fake story was contrived by Kamala Harris's campaign. And Stacey Williams is out front now to speak out for the first time since the
Wait, so now it was Kamala who said it?
Over Trump's handling of the Epstein case. Stacey, thank you so much for joining us tonight. As you know, Epstein is dominating the news once again, and his relationship with Trump is under scrutiny. While you were dating Epstein, can you tell us how close these two men were?
They were best friends. I dated Jeffrey for a period of more or less, I think about 4 or 5 months. And the only friend that he would mention every time we saw each other or had a phone conversation was Donald. And he would share a lot of anecdotes. I have plenty of anecdotes. And yeah, they were very close, and they were up to no good.
And how did
Ronan, what was the incident? Why did he kick him out? I don't remember this. Let me know and I'll find the article. Liar, this woman is lying? Really? So what happened? Remember, Trump kicked Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago. Was it pertaining to this incident? Did people not believe her, or what happened? Let me listen to her, because I've never heard her statement before. Sorry. And there's been I think we said it was like 16 different women that gave allegations.
Epstein talk about Trump? Sort of what was the quality of those anecdotes and how he described it?
Okay.
Well, there was a time when he mentioned that he had to check in on him because he was unwell and very upset about something that had happened. I remember because he was late to pick me up, and he was explaining why he was late.
I have the article. We're going to look at it next.
They were just, it was such a long time ago, but it was just that was his bro, that was his wingman. It was clearly, I'd hear about Ghislaine and I'd hear about Jeffrey, and I met Ghislaine in his house. She would come wafting in and out the home in New York. So he was clearly just someone that he talked about all the time. And again, I met Jeffrey the second time, and we started dating based on the reintroduction that happened at the Plaza Hotel at a Christmas party in 1992 that Donald Trump threw. And they were very, very close.
So let's talk about this incident, alleged incident in 1993, where you say that Trump groped you in front of Epstein. I do want to note that CNN has spoken to 3 friends of yours who confirmed that you told them about this alleged incident over past decades. Can you tell me more about what happened that day, and particularly how Trump and Epstein interacted?
Yeah, and before I get into the details of what happened, which, obviously I told you guys and I've shared with multiple outlets, the specifics of the assault that happened, I want to point out that I was polygraphed before I did all this by one of the most renowned examiners in the world.
So she took a polygraph for the allegations? Okay, Mar says, Rabbit, thank you so much for the $4.99. Rabbit, read my previous message. It's not letting me super chat you that. It's the internet flashing thing. I can't find I don't even see your previous message, Mar. Is it not letting you? Maybe there's something. Sometimes certain words are blocked, and it won't let you previous. It won't let you. There may be certain words that are blocked. So sometimes when there's a certain word block, you have to kind of space out your words. So this is the article that Ronan said. Trump banned Jeffrey Epstein from Mar-a-Lago after criminal hit on member's daughter book claims. Okay, so somebody wrote a book about this, and it says President Donald Trump banned his former friend, the wealthiest investor, Jeffrey Epstein, from his exclusive Mar-a-Lago club for hitting on teenage daughter of another member. Oh my God. The late that goes with that statement about sometimes he likes them young. The late Epstein banishment by Trump from Palm Beach, Florida club appeared to have occurred months before Epstein pled guilty in 2008 to state criminal charges in Florida, which included paying for sexual services from a 14-year-old girl. Well, he was bringing them at that. I mean, isn't that what Virginia said, that she was being brought to some of these hotels that were owned by this guy? But it also seems to have happened more than 2 years after a state grand jury charged Epstein with solicitation of prostitution. The new book, The Grifters Club, Trump, Mar-a-Lago, and the Selling of Presidency, also says that despite the claims to the contrary by Trump's company, Epstein had been himself a member of Mar-a-Lago before he was banned. A Trump organization's official last year denied that Epstein, who had a luxurious resident in Palm Beach, had been a dues-paying club member, after the investor was arrested in July of 2019 on child ST charges. Epstein died a month later in a Manhattan federal jail from what authorities have ruled was a unaliving by himself by hanging. At the same time, Trump did not reveal publicly what led to the falling out with Epstein, whom he said he had not spoken to up to 15 years. I don't think that's accurate, but okay. I'm not a fan of his, Trump said then. But Trump, a real estate developer and a reality TV star for years, had been friends with Epstein before booting him from his club. Epstein also previously was friends with President Bill Clinton, Britain's Prince Andrew, and other wealthy, powerful people. In 2002, Trump told New York Magazine, "I've known Jeff for 15 years. Terrific guy. He's a lot of fun to be with. It is even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side." The New York Times last summer reported that in 1992, a Florida businessman at Trump's request had organized a calendar girl competition at Mar-a-Lago. "I arranged it to have some contestants fly in." Oh, let's look at this article. Hold up. This is in 2019. Okay, I got that article out. We're gonna look at that article too. That is interesting. You said when Trump says you are terrific, that's a kiss of death. LOL. Literally. Oh my God. Hold on, Ronan. Down the road, look up for the Trump interview where he explains that Epstein likes them very young. Okay, I'll look into that. Thank you. Is there do you want to share a link with me? Do you know where it's at? Is there a specific interview that he did recently explaining that? Let me know. And thank you so much for the $5, Ronan. Thank you. Mara Mello, thank you so much for gifting a membership. If you've been gifted, put some hearts in the chat. Hold up. I want to look into this article, and then we're going to jump into another one. And if you want to tag me on the Discord, is there an explanation for some of this? That is the question. Okay. Okay. Let me look into this. You said to buy Mar-a-Lago, and Trump bought it out from under him to spite him. Oh. Damn, follow the money, y'all. Follow the money. I'm looking. Okay. You just read it. I think I heard of that. Yeah. Isn't that transporting? It's a good question. How are we going to survive the next 3 years with all this stuff? Well, he's got to release those files. That's what he's got to do. He's got to keep his word on that. Release them all. Expose them all. All of them. All of them. And prosecute all of them. Whether they're Republicans or Democrats on the list, or princesses, or kings and queens, or archbishops, whatever it may be, prosecute them all. Because we want justice, right? It's already a lot. Okay. Let's see. It further goes. The New York Times last summer reported that in 1992, a Florida businessman at Trump's request had organized a calendar girl competition at Mar-a-Lago. I arranged to have some contestants fly in. His name is George Auershany, the businessman told the Times. At the very first party, I said, "Who's coming tonight? I have 28 girls coming." It was him, Trump, and Epstein. I said, "Donald, this is supposed to be a party with VIPs. You're telling me it's you and Epstein?" He recalls. But Epstein, pensions for young women apparently became an issue for Trump and Mar-a-Lago years later, according to the Grifters Club. Sarah Baskley, a Miami Herald Investigator reporter who co-wrote the book, told her newspaper in an article published Tuesday that according to another Mar-a-Lago member, Trump kicked Epstein out after Epstein harassed the daughter of a member. What if she wasn't a daughter of a member? Would he have still kicked him out? That's the question that I have. The way this person describes it, such an act could irreparably harm the Trump brand, leaving Donald no choice but to remove Epstein. Epstein's months after his banning for Mar-a-Lago began serving what ended up being a 13-month jail term on the Florida state criminal charges. Okay, the Miami Herald then, whose groundbreaking stories in late 2017 about the sweetheart non-prosecution deal that the federal authorities gave Epstein in 2007 led to his indictment on federal trafficking charges last year. Also reported a footnote in the new book says its authors were shown Mar-a-Lago membership registry for more than a decade earlier. The registry revealed that Epstein had been a member. Okay. The members list we saw were essentially spreadsheets. They listed current members, honorary members, and former members. Red cells indicated the close accounts detail from former members. Most close accounts are labeled resign. And then the date that the membership ended. Epstein's account says account close 10/7. The Trump Organization did not immediately respond to a request for comment from CNBC. Virginia Giuffre, one of the group of women who claimed that she was sexually abused by Epstein, has said that the British socialite Ghislaine, recruited her as a teenager to be exploited by Epstein when Giuffre was a teenager working as a spa attendant at Mar-a-Lago. See, there was a lot of stuff going on in those hotels. And she did call that out. Wait, where's my StreamYard? Here it is. Let's see. Okay. I thought it was a real estate thing that ended the friendship. I thought so too, but it looks like it might have been something else. Has he confirmed this story? Yeah, we do. We want the financial records. We want the original evidence logs. We want answers as to the Paris properties were not rated. And don't forget, was it New Mexico? Zorro? That's the one. So he did kick him out for this. Did Trump ever talk about this to confirm this story? Because then, I mean, I don't see him saying that, because then that would be like him admitting. But yeah, look at the interview that has been blurred. Rabbit, I cannot find it. Look at the interview that has been blurred. Rabbit, I can't find it. What about the story of the teenager who said that he complained about his BJ? Did anything ever come out of that? I don't know. Look at the interview that has been heard. Which interview are you talking about that has been blurred? Was he ever confronted about this? Yeah, there's pictures of her working in there, partying as a minor with older men. But that was okay, right? Since she wasn't a minor or a member of daughter. Okay. See what I'm saying? Soul power is like, so he kicked him out because a member complained that this guy was hitting on his daughter. So what if like she wasn't, what if he wasn't a member? That would have been okay. It's a lot of questions. You said Virginia Giuffre's attorney said Trump helped with anything he needed. They see, that's the thing, is like, make sure y'all screenshot shit because everything's disappearing off the internet. The 13-year-old sued twice, but ultimately dropped because of the harassment threat. So that was, wasn't it Kate Johnson? Okay. That's weird, but okay. Maxwell last month was arrested on charges related to allegedly enabling Epstein's SA of several underage girls. Maxwell also is charged with perjury for allegedly lying under oath during the deposition for a civil lawsuit filed by Giuffre, in which Maxwell had denied knowledge of Epstein's sexual misdeeds. Maxwell has pleaded not guilty and is being held without bail. Now, Trump, during a July 21st White House news conference, said that he wished Maxwell well. In an interview with, Exos, Trump defended his kind words for Maxwell, despite reporters Jonathan Sworn reminding him that she is charged with crimes related to the alleged sexual exploitation of children. First of all, I don't know that, Trump said, referring to the charges against Maxwell. But I do know that her friend or boyfriend, Epstein, was either killed or committed in jail. Trump said, she's now in jail. Yeah, I wish her well. I wish you well. I wish a lot of people well, Trump told Swan. What? What? Oh my God. What? Hold up. I'd be like, this is me, y'all. What? I wish Maxwell well. I wish you well. I mean, he's like, I wish a lot of people well. I mean, you're only the madam. I wish you well. What? It's not like bitch needs to rot in jail. No, it's not that. It's I wish you well. Sorry, y'all. I'm laughing because I'm like, yeah, I could see why people would have had that reaction. Don't get mad at me, y'all. Don't get mad at me. Ronan, I'm trying to find that trying to find that interview that you're talking about. Yo, I just don't. I mean, I guess, yeah, what would you, and let's hold up. And this was in a July 21st news conference. Hold up. Basley told the Miami that Trump's recent comments on wishing Maxwell well shows the difficulty Trump and Palm Beachers have in acknowledging the abhorrent behavior in people they consider part of their social circle. That is a true. See, this is the issue, and this is a. How old is this article? This is from 2020. That still stands. Like that was the most awkward thing to say. When reporting this book, we heard many times that Epstein victims had done pretty well financially despite the abuse and shouldn't really be pitted. It was sickening. Wow. The thing about whether people need to acknowledge this is the stain in America. Guys, this is the stain in America. It really is. And anybody that doesn't stand for finding out the truth, whichever side you stand on, is concerning, you know? Let me see if I can find that Axios article. Hold up. Hold up. This is a Right. It's a bit off. And then they victim blame there. Well, they got a lot of money. So they still didn't get any justice. Nobody's behind ball outside of the Maxwell. It's code, Rabbit. You think it's code? Okay. It's forever. It's the stain in the American. It's a stain. It's not just America. Well, all over the world. But I'm saying specifically, like, if he was if that was regardless of how their friendship ended or didn't end, he should be the one that should be leading the fight for this because he did promise this, guys. And I'm not going to sit here and make excuses whether it's him or any other president. And then people say, well, why? And I said it too, because I was like, well, they should have released this before. But then I'm also finding out that there was a ruling by a judge where Biden couldn't even release that information at the time. I'm not well versed in that, other than that's what I heard. But if they had the opportunity to release that when the Biden administration was there, they should have. They should have done more to do it. They should have done what they had to do. They don't just leave it alone. They should have kept going. That's it. You have to follow through with your promises. People are paying attention. And the reason why people thought that he was going to be the one who was going to lead a lot of this transparency, and it didn't happen that way. It still hasn't happened that way. Hopefully it does with this hopefully it does with this unsealing of documents. Maybe there might be something there, but we're only getting transcripts. Huh? So you said my mom recently asked. I see your comments now, Mar. With his legs, I think he has like an issue. Like they just talked. We were live when they were talking about his medical condition. He's got something going on with, like, I think it's like blood that pools on his legs or something like that, and it's a thing that's not going to go away. He's going to deal with that. So I mean, hopefully he gets medical treatment for that. Clearly, and he will. He's the president. But yeah. You said they made this big spectacle with those binders. Part 1, where's part 2? This is part 2. We're living it right now. This is part 2. Part 2 was we had to do the egg hunt of the situation. That's what it was. Look up the internet with Mary Farmer, who worked for Yvonne. Yes, we just saw that. Palabra, we just saw that. But yes, that's kind of where, like circulation, heart issues, something to that effect. You're right. You're right. People, really, it seems like it would be easier to admit this than redact everything. Well, that red tape stuff that you put, if you're telling officials to red flag anything with your name, or if you're saying if it's got my name in it, I want it out, it must be fake news. That's concerning, guys. That's concerning. Now, this is from when she first got convicted, right? President Trump, in a new interview, suggests that accused child trafficker Jeffrey Epstein might have been killed in jail instead of having committed S. Well, now he's saying that they committed S. And defended his well wishes to Epstein's alleged accomplice, Maxwell. Trump also said, first of all, I don't know that, when he was reminded that Maxwell now faces charges related to alleged abuse of children by the wealthy investor Epstein. Okay, so then we read this already. That's this quote. Yeah, I wish her well, but I wish you well, and I wish a lot of people well. Okay, and I guess this was like let's see. Is this still available? Oh, this was back in 2020. Look at this. Trump sure got defensive when talking about his friend Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein. Wonder why. He always gets defensive when it comes to like stuff like that. It's crazy. Y'all, and I mean, like I said, we are just wanting to seek the information because it's not being provided, Now, hold up. I wanted to look at Ronan's suggestion, but I don't see Ronan in the chat anymore. And I don't know if he put it in the, what is this? Yeah, I remember this. We all talked about this. This is a crazy shit. This right here, this is the painting we talked about this. This is the painting that was hanging in Epstein's residence. Ain't that some shit? Listen, I'm not a fan of Clinton. I'm not a fan. Like I told you, I'm not a fan of any of these people. Jeffrey Epstein reportedly had an oil painting of former U.S. President Bill Clinton dressed in a woman's clothing conspicuously displayed in the Manhattan townhouse. Was that like an inside joke, or? And that's the where that came from. It was hanging up there as soon as you walk in. So I guess you see it right away in that area. And it was first the New York Times reported it. My nose is itchy. Everybody who saw it laughed and smirked. Did Clinton know about it? According to the New York Times, Clinton had commissioned a mural of a photorealistic prison scene that included barbed wire and correction officers in a guard station with Mr. Epstein portrayed in the middle. A female doll hung from a chandelier. These people in their creepy art. And the residents touted a human chessboard featuring scantily clad models of his staff. According to the report, the doll, the New York Post added Wednesday, was wearing a wedding dress. Like, good, they just buy art. Like, is it supposed to be like, haha, I got this thing or what? I don't know, y'all. And you have to admit, that was a creepy picture. That was a dress Hillary was wearing to an event. Oh my God. And it fit him? They're on the same size? Lord have mercy. The art show, I own Clinton. I don't think the Clintons are innocent people at all, y'all. I'm just putting that out there. I don't think that there's anything. That's what I'm saying is none of these politicians are innocent whatsoever. It was a painting, LOL. I know, wrote it, but it's like, you really got that painting there? Like, is that how they held stuff against each other? That is crazy. That is great. Like, and then it was Hillary's dress. Now, did Hillary know, like, what? Anyways, well, don't forget that what's his name? Kevin Spacey, we talked about him, and he was talking about the situation. He was like, he was trying to set up our president. It was Kevin Spacey who told Piers Morgan, and this was a couple months ago. Kevin Spacey, who has a statement, release all the files. I want to clear my name. And somebody in the chat said, well, the files aren't really about little boys, they're about girls. So there's that. And so people felt like he's just, anyways. But he did clear his name to be very much fair. Kevin Spacey did, even though Kevin Spacey's a little sketch. You said it was Monica's blue dress. Somebody said it was Hillary's. Well, listen, I didn't ask. Did y'all ask them whose blue dress it was? Yes, we know. We just talked about the Murdoch lawsuit. Yes. That was Clinton's dress. Lord, I'm merciless. Wow. I don't know, y'all. Look, this was in New York Times in 2019. He was a terrific guy. Now he not so much ever. And this is when the book was coming about of that whole situation. Guys, let me know what y'all think. And I mean, a lot of this is coming back. Here's the thing. Here's well, now PBS is getting all this funding cut, right? Like they're gonna PBS is mad right now because public television is going away. They're going NPR, public television, goodbye. They're gonna be done. So because he considers this fake news, or it is, I don't know. But they did a little report on him.
Good evening. I'm John Yang. President Trump said today he wants all Jeffrey Epstein grand jury testimony made public as he continues to spar with parts of his political base over his handling of the matter. At the same time, Mr. Trump acknowledged that even releasing all that testimony might not be enough for the troublemakers and radical left lunatics. Earlier, Mr. Trump said that supporters pressing him to release more Epstein material are weaklings who have fallen for a Democratic hoax. With some conservative critics saying that.
Is that the case? I don't think so.
Now that the president is part of a cover-up, attention is turning to the relationship between the two men. New York Times White House correspondent Luke Broadwater has written about what's known about the Trump-Epstein relationship. Luke, how far back do these two men go?
Well, we know they've known each other since at least the late 1980s or 1990, when Jeffrey Epstein purchased a property in Palm Beach. shortly thereafter, the two men became friendly. They ran in the same circles. They were both from New York. They were both rich. They both had a love for nightlife and for attending flashy parties and being surrounded by women.
Mhm.
And so for about 15 years, as best we can tell, they were pretty tight. Trump flew on Epstein's private jet, Palm Beach in New York at least 7 times. And it isn't until 2004.
PBS cut. That must have to do with their funding. Did y'all see that? Now they're going to get glitches now that they can't be funded anymore.
Or when they really have a falling out, when they become rivals over a real estate property in Florida. They both wanted the same oceanfront mansion. And Donald Trump and Epstein sort of become rivals or even enemies after that.
And after that break, after the break over the that real estate, did they ever get back together, or was that it?
Not as best we can tell. There's no public record of them interacting after about 2004. And Trump himself, after Epstein died in jail, said he hadn't talked to him in 15 years. And we haven't found any evidence that contradicts that.
What was his reaction or public reaction when Epstein was arrested on sex trafficking in 2019?
Well, he tried to distance himself from any connection to Epstein, and he called him a creep. There have been times when he called for a full investigation. There have been times when he tried to suggest maybe Democrats were involved in.
I want to know, though, I am kind of curious about this whole little thing with, did he kick Epstein out of his hotel because he hit on a member and on a child's member, on one of their members' children? I kind of wonder about this. Like, I do feel like that should be something that should be a question. Did this happen? And then maybe that was his red flag of like, I'm trying to disassociate from any of this. And then it's followed him.
Wrongdoing in connection to Epstein. And there have been other times when he sort of hedged and said he didn't want everything out and that he believes maybe innocent people could be unfairly maligned. And he even expressed sympathy for Miss Maxwell, who was Jeffrey Epstein's former girlfriend, who's now serving a prison sentence for helping him with his sex trafficking ring. And she was convicted of that and is doing a 20-year prison sentence currently.
You say he was sort of ambivalent about releasing this stuff during the campaign, but it was certainly a big part of the MAGA base that was supporting him, and now he's trying to get them to move on. Do you think they will?
It doesn't seem like it. You know, he famously bragged he could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue and wouldn't lose any supporters. This seems to be the one issue, though, where he's really put himself in a political fix. His base has been adamant that all these files be released. If you look at sort of right-wing message boards or social media posts, really ardent supporters of Donald Trump are turning on him over this issue. They're saying he's becoming, like the swamp. He's part of a cover-up. And so him saying move on does not appear to be working.
Nope.
Maybe it's working with some of the Republicans on Capitol Hill. Maybe it's working with, a few talk show hosts. But by and large, the base seems to be demanding that every piece of information about Jeffrey Epstein and his crimes come out. As you know, there's widespread belief that there were, rich and famous men who abused women along with Jeffrey Epstein, and people want to see those men brought to justice. And to date, it's really only been Jeffrey Epstein and Maxwell who have faced any legal repercussions.
That's the biggest thing, is people want to make sure that people are brought to justice. Now, some of you guys have sent me this link and I did watch a little bit of it, but this is that part that I keep telling you that people say, well, this is unearthed video. No, it's not. It's always been there. There's always been videos of Trump with younger women because, he was like the pageant guy. So like, to me, this is not, I don't feel like we're uncovering anything new when it comes to this images. Yes, there were young girls. There's a huge correlation between the modeling industry and the trafficking situation, as well as the pageant world, and that like all of this is all connected. I very much believe it, but some of this is not secret. Like, this is why I'm like, this is so deceptive to say that this is hidden videos found. It's not like that. These videos have been out for a long time.
Like, I'll post it on another thread, but let me just show you some of the lowlights of this event. This is what happened, and you can see that these are young girls. These are little girls.
Yes, because they were in the modeling. This is where I don't agree, that I'm like, yes, they're young girls, and he's sitting there and he's judging them, but it's not just him. There's a bunch of other adults in there. Have y'all ever watched John Robert Powers' Thing? You know what I mean? You see like when people are out there, we see it all the time. That's why I'm like, I don't know if this is where we have to be careful. You know what I mean? This is where if you're on the side of like people will discredit people this way. Like we got to make sure that we're keeping the energy the way in which they need to, and we're not just throwing shit out to see what sticks. Again, what I found creepy was the other image where he's talking about his 1-year-old daughter. Like, that wasn't cute. That just tells you, like, you know, there's something up there. But here, this is a little bit different.
Dressed like in very little clothing, dancing, and just watch for yourself. Let's play it.
The Look of the Year contest is the ultimate contest for women that want to go all the way in the modeling business.
Featuring 58 of the world's most beautiful young women competing for more than $700,000 in prizes.
Wow. This is like, remember America's Next Top Model? I used to love that show. I remember that show. Like, that was the show that I used to watch. You could say a lot about that too. You know what I mean? So that's why we have to be very careful of how we're putting our energy out there. Sylvia, thank you so much for the 1999. He needs to stop backpedaling on his word. There's too much evidence. I know you're being censored. They wouldn't let me super chat and maybe change. Really? Smar said that she couldn't super. I'm telling y'all, I'm being censored. I can't talk about this. I have to be very careful. And this is why I waited for like several minutes before I started talking about any of this. Guys, do me a favor, hit the like button. Thank you so much. Now you guys are seeing how I'm being censored. You literally are watching. It's not letting you super chat. It's not letting you do stuff like that. Like, y'all are seeing it in real time. And then I get the little like orange little thing. So yeah, it's a real thing. You guys can always donate to the Cash App if you want to, or the other pay links that I have. But I appreciate it. But I'm glad that you said this, Sylvia, because Mars said that earlier, and I thought maybe it was just like a fluke. But she's saying that she couldn't super chat what she wanted to say. There's something going on. There's something going on. Okay, let me go ahead and hit this.
The chance of a dream come true. A career as one of modeling's superstars.
Oh, and thank you, Sylvia. Thank you again. Appreciate you.
We'll take you behind the scenes and onto the runway. You see the fun, feel the excitement. You'll pick your favorite.
Ooh. Hold up. Ronan says, Joe Biden showered with his 12-year-old granddaughter, but we don't talk about that. I got to super chat. Yay. I didn't know about that. That's gross. Y'all be... I'm telling you, it's gross. Like, let me ask you guys a question about this, okay? Like, I know that there's this thing where it's like you, there's an age gap when it comes to showering. Don't shower with your grandchildren. That is gross. Thank you. I didn't know that that's what had happened last. How did we even find out about this last morning? Was this investigated, or what happened? Do you see what I'm saying? It's like we got to keep the outrage the same way on all political ends, because I think the Clintons are creepy and we don't keep the same energy. We have to. But see, when you're only married to one side, that's why it's like it's really easy to go after one side and not the other. That makes sense. You said, hold up. He said he walked in the dressing room with naked girls because he was the owner of the Tennis US pageant. Ew. Damn. Ronan, thank you again for the $5. Well, hell, at least like it looks like you can super chat. Thank you. Yes, it's not letting us say what we want to say. Oh my God, just be careful. Thank you. You said, yeah, I'll tell you guys all the time that YouTube hides my... Yes, they do hide messages. You know whose messages get hidden all the time? I think Biscuit's in the chat. Biscuit, your messages get hit all the time. They're always in the studio, and some I never see till like months later. So some messages do get hidden by YouTube for months, or weeks. I just don't see them. Is it Wenchi? Thank you so much for the super sticker. Thank you. Appreciate it. But they do. They hide those. So that's just gross. Why are people showering with their children? Especially at the age of 12. Listen, there's an age limit to that. Boundaries. Unless there's a disability, maybe that's a little bit different. But that's weird. Okay. That's gross. Anyways, let's keep going. So here we have these modeling things.
Along with our panel of expert and celebrity judges, you'll enjoy front row VIP seating at our gala evening. One of these contestants will be selected as Girl Look of the Year.
And then here's another clip where it talks, and you heard Donald Trump there as well. So here's another clip right here of the kind of pre-competition to get into the finals, if you will, and just watch how creepy this is. Here, play this clip.
58 contestants participated in an exhaustive round of personal interviews designed to help our judges discover what makes each one special.
I mean, they're all there.
Okay. Thank you very much. The concentration was intense inside the judging room. What if they don't like you as you are? And out.
I'm just so excited.
Each girl was considered not only for her beauty and poise, but also for her personality.
So why was this? Why is he saying that this was hidden videos found? There's okay.
That indefinable something extra.
And it's not just Trump. There's all these other men's in here too, and women's. But I just, like I said, we have to be very careful how we're doing this. But okay.
Makes a top model. Okay, you want to pull your hair back 1 second? Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Ingrid. Good luck for tonight.
Thank you.
When it came time to choose the 21 finalists,
This is so true, Vic. I have to highlight your comment. Perverted men and women coming off sides of the political realm spectrum. They can be all kinds. They could be priests. They could be nuns. They could be holy people. They could be not holy people. They could be all kinds. Okay. Keep the same energy. People love to put the blinders on when it's someone that they favor. Don't do that. Because then we find ourselves in a situation like we're on right now. You know, I agree. Whether it's Biden or Trump or Clinton or whatever, or Obama, whatever it may be, we don't know. He said it was Biden's daughter's Ashley Biden, not granddaughter. My mistake. Gotcha. Okay, that's gross. But see, this is, thank you, Ronan, so much for the $5. Look, Ronan can super chat. Okay, but this right here is a comment that literally needs to be amplified. Okay, let's stop putting these people in a pedestal. Let's stop idolizing these people just because they promised you X, Y, and Z. We need to do better, y'all. And we aren't. We're literally stuck here. And we wouldn't be stuck here if this was a better process for all of us. It is what it is. We find ourselves trying to discredit a person's trauma if it doesn't fit a narrative that we like. When we weren't there, y'all weren't there, I wasn't there. But that's their trauma and that's what they're reliving. Do you know what I mean? We just got to do better. That's all. That's it. And thank you. Yes. And we need to, this right here, Kisamooch, we need the youth to elevate and start running our country. That's who we should be working for, right? That's who we should be like setting people up. You know what I mean? We're not doing a good job. That's what it is. If we're so stuck on this and we're not doing better at helping, and that's that piece where it's like we're so stuck, y'all. We are so stuck on these political aspects and all this other stuff when really it should be people. It should be, the morality to a certain degree, whatever that may be in your country and culture, because everybody's in different places, but we have to be careful, But that's my thought on that. If there's one thing that if we don't agree on any political stuff, which is fine, can we at the very least agree on the fact that some of the information that they are sitting on, because it does seem like there's something needs to be exposed and people need to be prosecuted, not just exposing, but prosecution of these individuals all around. Okay. All around.
emotions ran high as each judge expressed his or her opinion.
You said she was the best, and I said, yeah.
Non, je te trouve.
This is all them. They're judging.
One of the things that we know as well is that Donald Trump, and he talked about this, that he would inspect the girls in the beauty pageants that he would hold. He held a lot of beauty pageants. So you'll just whichever beauty pageants he's talking about here, and he would look at them naked and he would inspect them. And he said because he was the leader of the competition, he was the owner. You can inspect them naked. He said you do it when you're the leader. They let you do it.
Wait, he said that? Where did this happen? Is there somewhere in there?
Here he is on audio saying that to Howard Stern, so you can just hear in his own words, so you know that I'm not paraphrasing. Just hear what he says.
Yes, please.
Here, play this clip.
Well, you could also say, as the owner of the pageant, it's your obligation to do that.
So you have done that. Now,
I'll tell you the funniest is that I'll go backstage before a show.
Yes.
And everyone's getting dressed and ready and everything else, and no men are anywhere. And I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant, and therefore I'm inspecting it. I'm inspecting. I want to make sure that
You're like a
everything
doctor.
is good.
You're there.
Yeah,
Where's Pika? Pika just said this in the chat. Yeah, he admitted to this shit. Oh, Lord have mercy. Yeah, no. Deborah, thank you so much for the $4.99. Rabbit, please check link breakdown of Trump and Epstein, my email. Okay, I'll check it out. This is disturbing, y'all. This is his own words. Okay.
Is everyone okay? They're standing there with no clothes. Is everybody okay? And you see these incredible looking women. And so I sort of get away with things.
And then we have the confirmation of what's happening from some.
He said that. And y'all, nobody put words in his mouth. I don't see your email. Oh, wait. I think I do actually. Give me 1 second. Okay, I see it. Let's see if we have time. Yes, I saw this video. Hold up. I'm gonna try to play a little bit of that and then go over there.
Of the contestants in the beauty pageant. Like here was Miss 2006 North Carolina describing what would happen when Donald Trump would show up in the room. Let's play it.
Is it normal to see men in dressing rooms at pageants and the owner of the pageant?
No. The director of the North Carolina, South Carolina, Louisiana, and Alabama pageants, it's very much a family atmosphere. She doesn't even go backstage when the girls are getting ready. Only the female chaperones are allowed backstage in the dressing rooms with the girls. I've never had an experience where there were men or directors or anything like that walking back in the dressing rooms.
Yeah. That's crazy, y'all. That's crazy. Now, Deborah, this is what Deborah shared, and this was a day ago. She cooked him. Trump DOJ throws him to the wolves after cover up. Okay. Well, let's get into this a little bit. I do have to head out pretty soon, so I may not have a lot of time.
Well, Donald Trump better start reading the filings of his own Solicitor General, John Sauer, and Department of Justice with the United States Supreme Court about the Jeffrey Epstein case, if he wants to understand why it's not, in his own words, why it's not boring, and he can't understand why people are calling and demanding for the full release of the Epstein files, because in a filing just made by John Sauer, Donald Trump's own Solicitor General, his former criminal appellate lawyer, they lay out the reason that this isn't boring. They lay out the reason why the Trump administration should immediately stop the cover-up. I found it appalling that during a interview on the tarmac somewhere with Howard Lutnick, the Commerce Secretary, standing right next to Donald Trump, that he joked about Epstein, said it was fake news, said it was a hoax, with a laughing Howard Lutnick next to him.
Yeah, that was weird. But the thing is like, oh my God, he should have followed through with his promise and not have lashed out at people that were holding him to it, guys.
At the same time, another data point that I wanted to bring up here, not only was Maurene Comey, James Comey, former FBI director appointed by Donald Trump, just fired by the Trump administration, but she was also the prosecutor for Ghislaine Maxwell. This is the same Ghislaine Maxwell who was the cohort of Jeffrey Epstein and the pedophilia activity and was convicted in a New York jury trial of sex trafficking and other charges, giving her 20 years. She's got an appeal right now claiming that a non-prosecution agreement that Epstein signed down in Florida somehow covers her prosecution in New York. But the Department of Justice has just filed this new...
Yeah, he said Nutlick. Is that his name? I don't think that's his name. Did y'all hear that too? Okay, maybe it's just me. I don't know about patches, but they sure seem to care in Hollywood. Yeah. I'm laughing at the chat, y'all are too much. Did he say, was that intentional?
New brief. I'm going to break into this new brief, tell you why there's such an amount of bombshell activity that puts a lie to Donald Trump's positioning. And I'm also going to do a little special approach to why Howard Lutnick should stop laughing standing next to Donald Trump, considering he bought his townhome from Jeffrey Epstein.
He said it correctly now. Hold up. I'm going to try to I'm laughing because I didn't expect that. Did I hear it correctly the first time? He said it correctly now.
And live next door to the infamous townhouse where all of these bad pedophilia acts happened. I'll do it right here on the Midas Touch Network. So let's dive in. We have Ghislaine Maxwell, who was the sometime girlfriend, long-term, I don't know what you want to call her, Madam Pimp, that helped locate young girls to be ultimately raped by Jeffrey Epstein in Palm Beach, right near Mar-a-Lago, in New York, sort of down the street from Trump Tower. You see the connectivity here? And she, after he took his own life or died in a murder, I don't know which, but he no longer is here. She was tried, and a jury in New York found her guilty. She raised this argument that he had, not her, he had a non-prosecution agreement by the then U.S. attorney in the Southern District of Florida, Alex Acosta. By the way, this did a black mark on Alex Acosta's career, not to prosecute Jeffrey Epstein. And that because it mentioned co-conspirators, she somehow was shielded from further prosecution in places like New York. That's not what it's one place I agree with John Sauer. But here's the part that pisses me off. Let me first run the clip of Donald Trump taking umbrage with that. It's such an ordinary, nothing to see here state of affairs with Jeffrey Epstein. Boring details. Wait till I read you from his own Department of Justice, the boring details, and then a laughing Howard Lutnick, who happens to live.
He didn't say Nutlick this time. He said Lutnick.
Directly next door to the house that Epstein used to abuse women, and actually bought his townhouse in Manhattan from a trust owned by Jeffrey Epstein and the guy that used to own the Limited. Just to show you how all of these worlds collide. Now, one of my theories is, I'll show you the clip in a minute. One of my theories is they fired Maurene Comey because they want to flip positions and somehow move to start giving Maxwell a pardon because Donald Trump doesn't think Jeffrey Epstein did anything wrong. Wouldn't that go towards the cover-up? Get rid of the prosecutor, fire her, force the Department of Justice to change course in their Supreme Court filings, maybe even after the one we just saw that I'm going to talk about, and then give her a pardon. He can give her a pardon anyway. Giving Ghislaine Maxwell a pardon to cover up for Epstein and any connectivity and blowback to Donald Trump is the exact same thing as the pardons he gave to the Jan 6th insurrectionists, because he had to rewrite history. He had to make it a walk in the park, a day of love.
So is he trying to rewrite history? Is that what it is? Y'all, like, what are we doing here?
In order to do that, the people that are in jail have to be political prisoners. They can't be criminals convicted of violent crimes. They need to be pardoned and loved and embraced. Same thing here. Jeffrey Epstein, look at this math equation. Jeffrey Epstein didn't do bad things. He did boring things. It's a hoax. And the whole thing should be resolved. I'm pardoning Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yeah, that's weird. Like, that was the Jeffrey Epstein thing is boring. I'm like, I don't think that's what we care about, but okay.
You see this connectivity, and her lawyers, and I know some of these lawyers down in Miami, David Oscar Marcus in particular, they're campaigning to get a pardon for her the way, all those other daughters and people campaign to get their parents, the Chrisleys and all of that, to get them pardoned. Same thing. Let me read to you. Let me show you that clip, though. Here's the clip of a laughing Howard Lutnick and Donald Trump calling it a hoax and boring.
I know you've urged people to move on, but I'm curious, why do you think your supporters in particular have been so interested in the Epstein story and so upset about how it's been handled?
I don't understand it. Why they would be so interested. He's dead for a long time. He was never a big factor in terms of life. I don't understand what the interest or what the fascination is. I really don't. And the credible information's been given. Don't forget, we went through years of the Mueller witch hunt and all of the different things, the Steele dossier, which was all fake. All that information was fake. But I don't understand why the Jeffrey Epstein case would be of interest to anybody. It's pretty boring stuff. It's sordid, but it's boring. And I don't understand why it keeps going. I think really only pretty bad people, including fake news, want to keep something like that going. But
see, Nutlick is laughing.
Credible information, let them give it. Anything that's credible, I would say, let them have it.
Okay. You want to know how boring? Let me read to you from Donald Trump's own Solicitor General's filing that just happened in the last couple of days. Here's their description. Donald Trump's own government filings description of Jeffrey Epstein and the things that he did. From about 1994 to 2004, petitioner, that's Maxwell, coordinated, facilitated, and contributed to the multimillionaire financier Jeffrey Epstein's sexual abuse of numerous young women and underage girls. The abuse followed a pattern. This is Trump's DOJ. Petitioner and Epstein would identify vulnerable girls living under difficult circumstances, isolate them from their friends and families, gaining their trust by giving them gifts and pretending to be their friends, normalize the discussion of sexual topics and sexual touching with the girls, and then transition to sexual abuse, often through the pretext of a girl giving Epstein a massage.
Grooming and then working their way up.
Petitioner and Epstein paid victims large amounts of cash to provide Epstein with sexualized massages, and after a victim had begun giving massages, they would offer her additional money to recruit other girls. Epstein and the petitioner carried on these activities at, among other locations, Epstein's residence in Palm Beach, Florida, blocks, walking distance to Mar-a-Lago, that's my commentary, and New York City, blocks, walking distance, 1 subway stop, 2 bus stops from Trump Tower.
Okay, I'm going to stop right here. Go ahead and watch the rest of it if you want to. I do have to head out, guys, because we've been live for almost 2 hours and 30 minutes, and I gotta get my day started on other stuff. I might be live later on today. You said, what if Jeffrey, shout out to Night Term, I haven't seen you in a minute, and Trump were unpinned each. Sounds like he's got more luck than Nutlick. That's what it sounds like. Yo, first of all, shout out to everybody in the chat. Thank you guys for being here. Listen, we talked about all kinds of things, and I try to keep it as well-rounded as I can. I might have my opinions, but those are mine, not yours, and you guys are entitled to yours. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. There's no echo chamber here as long as we keep it cute. And so far, we did good today, so I really appreciate it. Y'all are amazing. Hit the like button. I gotta go. Hit the like button. You guys are going off on the chat. It's gonna be okay. Listen, you're gonna watch the Blair Witch interview now. I gotta go, and I mean, I got a lot of stuff I gotta collect, so I'll see if I can be live tonight. If not tomorrow, I do have another video that I'm working on that I'm like dreading releasing, but I have to do it. So keep an eye on the notifications and everything. Okay, I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye. Love y'all. Bye bye.